bitch like I was Drake,
Don't just try to tell me you love me. Can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, you here been a front, so you get my meals. I'm gunning for the money in the bank. Come on with a dank, scrolling in the tank, rolling with the gang. You sit and I on the sideline tripping. I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin.
yeah. I'm okay.
What up, though? And
Let's
welcome
go.
to World Heavyweights Live on WorldSports.com. Your boy Easy, joined by not Spimo-Rax. We got Microwave Nick in the building.
Third time's a charm, baby. I am fired up to be here Friday, kicking your weekend off right. I got lucky. It's another Friday show, so good vibes.
Yes, sir.
I know Tom Gores is feeling some good vibes.
Oh man,
Always.
yeah. It's probably how we'll spend the beginning portion of today's show. Is some takeaways from the press conference that was supposed to start at 3:30 that ended up starting at 4:40.
Ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken. Either way, it's Microwave Nick, also
Let's go.
Detroit Mario, also known as Nicholas Kohloff. That's his government. We got young Chris.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
to Joel for holding it down in the TD.
Shout out, Joel.
The audio
deal?
booth.
What's the deal?
On the ones and twos, and also, of course, we got Caleb in the building as well.
Let's go, fellas.
Chris Castellani will be joining the show
Hype.
after this next break, talking Detroit Tigers briefly, but we figured we got one of the best to do it.
Let's go. We need to get some breakdown of what's going on in that organization right now.
Yeah. I think we know. It's not the best.
It's
Not the
bad.
best.
It's bad right now.
It is, man.
Dark place for Tigers fans right now.
I'm gonna leave it be to get Chris on.
Yep.
Chris, in the TD booth,
Yes, sir.
did you
G
catch
Chris.
any of the introductory press conference there?
I did, and right as we were going on air, a couple minutes before we went on air, Gores had a long intro, and Trajon spoke. And his first words were, "Thank you. I've never been introduced but like this. This is different." And he said, "I've also never had an interview at 4:30 in the morning." Like, what is going on right now? What is going on? And Tom Gores is going to shift it to, I want to win. But it doesn't necessarily help some of the Tom Gores allegations that we've heard. I mean, it doesn't help it, right?
It doesn't help it. The plethora of word salad the press conference began with.
Oh, my God. It was
Brutal.
disgusting.
There's words in action, right? You could say, I could tell you guys, hey, I'm going to go lose weight. I want to lose weight. But until I do it, I'm just talking shit. And that's just where I've gotten with Tom Gores. I think he's shown action that he wants to do something, but he's never actually done anything. We have more coaches than playoff wins in the Tom Gores era.
Absolutely horrible. I think one big thing that stood out to me as we're breaking down this press conference, quote unquote, I know some people think I'm detached. You are, Tom. You are detached. And honestly, just let the cooks, let them cook. Let Trajon do his job. That's what you brought him in here to do. I don't know if we got any answers so far.
And I apologize because I know people tune in. I see it every time. You guys want to hear the good stuff. You want to hear the positive things. You want your confirmation bias.
We got
It's
to be
tough
real.
with this organization, man. Like, they're really in a prove-it scenario. It really is. Like, as much I give him a chance every year. I'm a fan too, but just listening to Tom Gores and being in that presser just reminded me of everything we've already said about this in the franchise. But Trajon, maybe he's given like I said yesterday, no pun intended, the full Monty. He's given the full goal to be the true leader in the room. One thing that did concern me real quick, I asked you guys, he's kept the same staff. He said, everyone, you had the opportunity to leave. I told you my door was open if you'd like to move on from here. But as of now, every single person at the front office that held the job is still there. And that's coming off of yesterday we spoke about there's factions, multiple different factions in this organization per sources. How does that make you guys feel, Chris?
I mean, look, what that tells me is that, Tom Gores, we give him a lot of grief for his faults as an owner, and as we should, or governor. Sorry, that's a technical NBA term.
Governor.
But you know what? I mean, it shows you how much of corporate America is doing a job that they feel like is the easiest thing in the world, and they're getting paid for more than what they think they did, not what they think they deserve, but the pay justifies the life, and that's maybe what this Detroit office is. Maybe this Detroit team is an easy check.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but a professional sports team, I would believe is a hard job. I know we like to think that we could do it easily, and all our listeners and viewers say that they just do this, just do that. But we always say it's a very complicated job. But it seems like it's a very easy job, because if you're having a historically bad season,
I could do
and
that.
nobody wants to leave, that shows, hey, you know what? The standard, the work culture here is, this is an easy check. I'm going to take a check.
They're getting paid millions of dollars to just lose. And one thing that stood out to me is I tell Arn a little bit, said Tom Gores. And one of the first people that Trajon thanked was Arn Tellem. It sounded like he was a huge part of the process to hire him.
Yeah.
And that's where I repeatedly say this. Get Arn Tellem out of the damn front office. I really do not buy this guy at all. He brought in his son. I just think the nepotism is crazy, and I don't have faith in Arn Tellem and this organization. And he clearly thanked him for a reason.
Listen, again, I apologize for anyone that wanted to hear the positive stuff. And again, it can be corrected if Trajon is the right hire, or at some point the right hire is made. It can be corrected. Caleb, what's been your takeaways?
I'm just tired of the dysfunction. I just want to see winners. I just want to see these
Winners.
And this goes we'll get to the Tigers later with Chris Ilitch. I'm just tired of, I tweeted this the other day, they've just been farting around for the past decade. They haven't done anything to make us, the fans, believe that they're going to be a winner. And, Tom Gores is, no disrespect to Tom, but he's tough to listen to. I didn't get to catch the press conference, but yeah, was there anything that you guys heard, like him say specifically, or Trajon, that made you feel good, maybe in the direction this team is going?
To be fair, at this point, we don't know anything, because Trey really was just thanking people. He didn't get into, this is my plan, or this is how I see basketball. None of the philosophical parts of it, or that part. But all we heard was Gore's ramble about being a leader, working hard, all these corporate things.
Word salad.
Yeah.
Literal word salad.
This Pistons organization used to be a proud franchise. 3 NBA championships. You think about the Bad Boys. You think about the going to work Pistons. This organization is the bottom of the barrel. They are the worst organization in all of sports. Tom Gores needs to just let the guy cook. Whoever he brings in. Let him cook. It's disgusting, honestly. Think about a once proud franchise. Think about when we won the draft lottery in 2021. I actually moved down to Detroit in part because we got Cade Cunningham and I bought season tickets. I live 2 blocks away from LCA. I've put in hard-earned money on this organization and they give nothing in return. And I am so proud right now that I gave up on these season tickets. I stopped spending my money on them because they don't deserve our money. They don't deserve it at all. They are so bad at their jobs. It's terrible.
That's terrible.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Great job.
That's where I was with Tom Gore's part. I hate for this to start like this negatively, because a press conference is supposed to be like a new birth of hope. But when the press conference starts with one of the faces of negativity, or what you feel like has brought this franchise down, it is depressing, right? I literally thought about texting the Cunninghams and be like, I'm sorry this has been your experience. I truly apologize, because as Nick said, this once was a proud franchise. One of the things that Trajon, I got to catch him say, was I've never been in a building outside of San Antonio with as many banners as Detroit has. We are one of the most storied franchises in the NBA history. One of the only franchises to have 3+ championships.
Yeah, but that stuff's sad. We heard that with Troy Weaver's presser. We've heard that with Monty talking about, what did Monty say that got us fired up, was that Detroit is a great city and it's time to remind you of it. I'm sick of having to remind people. How about we just be it? And I know that's not, your fault. I'm not saying it at you, but I'm saying it in general. I'm sick of hearing that, man. This has got to be a Lions type thing, right? This has got to be tear this to the studs, and we really need to look in the mirror and reflect. And I just don't see that. Gores has said those words, but I don't believe his actions are aligning with his words.
When he says words, he loses me, because they're just fucking, they're floating around. He just grabs them, pieces them together. It's wild in there. Joel, you poor soul. How old were you when the Pistons won in 04?
2.
Yeah, that's
I
depressing.
feel worse for you. Are you even in like, yeah, your hometown team, but are you like a Pistons fan? Or have you always found yourself rooting for obviously winning?
I'm not a Pistons fan, no.
See, man.
What you call it. I won't say it like that.
It's not your fault. They sucked. They've sucked your entire life.
I won't even say it like that. Like, I tried to cheer for the Pistons, but I literally gave up like around like 2016, 2017. Because I'm like, bro, I don't know what direction this team is like trying to move towards. I don't know, like, are we trying to rebuild? Are we trying to be championship contender? Like, we were just meddling. Like, we were talking about it earlier, me and Caleb. Like, you can't be a tweener team. And for the longest, we were tweeners. So I'm like, I'm not about to be a fan of a tweener team, especially for a season like basketball, 82 games. Like, the Lions, you could take that on because it's like one game a week, 16 weeks. It's like, it's easier to attach to them even if they losing. But, like, multiple games a week and we losing and it's 82 games. It's like, I don't even want to really keep up with this. So
It's depressing, bro.
yeah, so most times I just like would pick a team for like a year and then just keep up with them. Like, I'm a big Steph Curry fan, so like
And
how
that-
most people are like Lakers fans, I was a Warriors fan.
And that's what they've done to the young generation. I mean, myself included, I used to, like I said, I had season tickets. I gave up on this franchise until they actually show something. And I know we're breaking down a lot of negative talk about the Pistons, but later in the show, Chris has actual positivity how this Pistons franchise is going to turn it around with the number 5 pick, some trades, maybe some free agents that we can bring in to actually turn the tide and get quality people in here because they have the most cap space in free agency. So let's see if they can cook something up. But right now, it's who's cooking it.
Yeah, DNC, ENT, the Woodward Sports Chat, shout out. This is in the article. The next sentence said, while 4 factions is very normal, they need to be on the same page. I don't believe that's what was said. I think they said that while agency running the front office is normal. And he pointed out examples with the Lakers, with LeBron and their crew. And they point out CAA in New York, which, okay, New York's been on the up and up, and I give them credit for that. Haven't won a championship since Walt Frazier.
Lots of dysfunction before that, too.
Yeah.
So, like, this is if you're looking at it in a total timeline thing, it's a small scale of success. But I don't want to discredit them because what they did this and how they built this roster is very good.
I'll gather more pieces from the press conference. We'll try to have some more positive things to say. But first, we got to rag on these Tigers just a little bit. Just a little bit. I got to get Chris Castellani joined as well. Nick, you mind telling us about Planet Fitness?
Yeah, talk about positivity. Let's switch up to the Tigers right now. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $10 a month and no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by, and there are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, where fitness is essential.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Are you dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, other family law issues? Kevin and Catherine at KDQ Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability is right with this QR code or at the phone number 248-971-0476. Tell them the Woodward Heavyweight sent you, and KDK Law will pay your filing fee. That's KDK Law. They've got your back. What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights live on WoodsportsCom. I'm Easy, joined by Microwave Nick, a.k.a. Detroit Mario.
Let's go,
Chris,
baby. Happy Friday.
Joel, Caleb. We are also joined by one of the most respected members in the Detroit Tigers content creation community, Chris Castellani. There's a lot of C's in that.
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
What up, Chris?
What's up, Chris? Last time we had you on the show, man, we all made the commitment to believe this team could win the division. And since then, they've kind of made us look silly. Do you still have any hope for this Detroit Tigers team to, they don't have to make they don't have to win a division, but can they make the playoffs still, or are you kind of down and out?
Time's running out. I mean, I think I said in a video earlier today that it would take a kind of random stroke of luck, a sudden, wow, the Tigers have won 9 out of 10 streak, something like that, to kind of inspire some hope again. I mean, the last time that I was on, this team was a few games above 500, and the way that I felt was, man, this pitching is excellent, and this offense, as much as it struggled, hey, this team is still a few games above 500. You start to get some production out of guys that you expect to get production out of. This thing can really get rolling, and ultimately what's happened is the pitching, while it's regressed, is still very solid, and you just have an offense that, I mean, to say it's inconsistent is almost doing them a favor. I mean, you look at the games they just played against Atlanta. They scored 2 runs in 3 games. They'll have an anomaly game every week or so where they'll score double-digit runs. But besides that, it's not a team that's competitive enough from an offensive standpoint to inspire much hope. And I think the big thing too is I said coming into the year that they had some opportunities the first 2 months of the season, with the schedule being what it was, to really make some noise. And that did last for a few weeks. They got off to that 6-1 start. They were, I think, 5 games above 500 at one point in May. But you go back and look at the schedule. I mean, losing 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, losing 2 out of 3 at home to the Nationals. No, I think the opportunity that they had to turn some heads really kind of went to the wayside. Now, you look forward at their schedule. They play the White Sox, obviously, who are terrible. That starts tonight. But after that, we're talking about series against Philadelphia, series against Cleveland, series against Kansas City, series. They end the first half with the series against the Dodgers. Their opportunity, to me, was in those first 2 months. And while they made it interesting for a little bit, they just didn't have enough firepower from an offensive standpoint to really keep this thing going.
Yeah, Chris, I'd be surprised if that team wins any of those series against those competitive actual clubs. Yeah. It's going to be another long summer, sadly, and that's where we're at again as Tigers fans, and it sucks. But one thing that you have to do is trade pending free agents, and one of those guys is Jack Flaherty. There's no doubt in my mind that this guy's going to get dealt. What kind of return do you think you get for a guy like Flaherty?
Well, it's really tough because one thing that's been talked about over the last decade or so, and I think it is true, is that nowadays you don't trade players as much as you trade contracts. Flaherty has been fantastic for the Tigers. I mean, the idea of him pitching the kind of baseball that he's pitched was a foreign concept coming into the season. I think that it's been proven now multiple times that Chris Fetter has the ability, and Robin Lund as well, to take some of these veterans that a lot of people think are has-been guys and turn them into studs again. I mean, Michael Lorenzen had an all-star season a year ago. In terms of the return, the thing about the trade deadline is it's all about finding the sucker. I mean, you have less than a season of Jack Flaherty if you do bring him in on a 1-year deal. Last year for Michael Lorenzen, they got a prospect who's having a great year down in AA, who I think is about to get called up to AAA, who's really hitting. I think you could probably do something similar. You could either get 2 mid-tier prospects or hope to get 1 higher level prospect, assuming that Flaherty continues to pitch the baseball that he's pitched. But by the time you get to the deadline, most teams, not all, but most teams will sell out the most for starting pitching. That's kind of how it's been. So if they play their cards right, you can get a guy that hopefully we can look at in the next several years can be an everyday guy in Detroit.
I guess that was kind of my question too, though, because I still have some confidence, or at least I think we have a respectable pitching staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility of trading for hitters and going for that wild card spot, or is it just not even worth it at this point?
I can't imagine any team right now trading the hitters they have and getting back what the pitching that we have currently. I feel like for a lot of teams, they view it as something of a lateral move. Like I said, there's a reason these deadlines exist when they do. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Like I said, if they get hot, then maybe we're having a different story. One of the things about the playoff expansion is that you're going to have more buyers. You're going to have more teams that are going to buy into the possibility of making a run. But I think in the next several weeks with the schedule I just brought up, I can't imagine a team that might be 8-9 games under 500 potentially going to try to acquire bats at the deadline. It sucks to say because every fan saw it coming. We talked about it, and it's true. But the opportunity that they had to improve this offense was in the offseason, and outside of getting Canna, they didn't really do a whole lot, and you're stuck with a team that's just kind of stuck with gears turning right now, sadly.
Yeah, it looks like they really punted on the offseason. They were counting on 23-year-olds to carry this team, where I just think you cannot do it that way. You have to supplement actual big league talent, which they didn't do. And speaking of one guy that's actually hitting his stride is Riley Green. He's the only feared hitter in this lineup, I would say. Outside of Riley Green, do you actually see a keeper on this team when they make the playoffs when it comes to their lineup?
I get asked about that in a lot. It's actually a tough question to answer because on paper, I see what their core should look like. It should be Riley Green, Justin Henry Malloy, Colt Keith. I mean, if you want to throw Torkelson to the side, I understand that. But you have a few guys down in the minors as well. Jace Young in the long term, Kevin McGonigal, Max Clark. But, sometimes we have a tendency to put the cart before the horse because the only one of those guys that I've named that has hit at the big league level is Riley. Now, in some instances, like Jace Young or some of the guys I brought up, they haven't seen the big leagues yet. But we came to this year saying, well, Colt Keith is part of the core. Is he? I mean, Colt Keith has a 500-something OPS. So right now, offensively, I think there's guys you can look at in the pitching staff and say, okay, part of the plan here, guys like Reese Olson, maybe some of the pieces of the bullpen. But honestly, right now, to me, I'm not declaring a guy as a part of the future. I'm not declaring a guy as being a part of the core unless I see him consistently produce at the big league level. Riley Green has come along the way that you hope a top prospect will come along. The power numbers have developed. He has cut down. There is still swing and miss in his game, but he has cut down on that. Besides that, there's nobody right now in this lineup in terms of the young guys that I look at and say, okay, that's definite. Now, literally in a few weeks, I could feel totally different. Let's say Keith gets hot. Let's say Justin Henry Malloy starts to adjust to big league pitching. But, a few years ago, we were getting asked those same questions, and we were under the assumption that Torkelson and Daz Cameron and some of these other guys were gonna hit, and a lot of them didn't make it. There's been kind of a consistent theme here when it comes to position players, is that guys they get hyped up, but ultimately they kind of fall short. There needs to be a proven track record for me to feel better about what the future is going to look like here.
Do you think the punting on the offseason, is it a characteristic of Chris Ilitch moving forward as the owner of the team, or do you think it had to do a little bit with the TV contract and Bally's and that going bankrupt and kind of being in limbo or question?
To me, that second part, I think that's a cop out. Chris Ilitch to me has plenty of money. He can spend whenever he wants. I think that if he wants to use that as an excuse, if at any point he says that, just don't believe it. He's got plenty of money. All of these owners do. I think that's a big issue in baseball. It's like I don't want to hear you cry poor about this stuff. But I think really it's more so, and it wasn't a good offseason. I think what he believed, and by he I mean Scott Harris in this particular instance, and I guess Chris Ilitch as well, is that year one was all about, okay, I got to look under the hood and see what I have. I think in year two they believed that what they had, not just in the farm system, but at the big league level, was something that could be sustainable and competitive. I know it sounds, tough to put it on two guys, but we're not having this conversation about them being sellers if Parker Meadows and Spencer Torkelson, two guys that they believed in, who they expected legitimate production out of, were having seasons that they thought that they would have, or at least seasons that were as good as what they put up a year ago. I think that there's been multiple instances now. You can go back last year with Nick Maton as well, of them believing in, I'm not even going to call them prospects, but young players at the big league level who they've just whiffed on. And now, because of those guys struggling, we look back and say, why didn't you make a move for a JD Martinez? Why didn't you make a move for a Matt Chapman? And hey, it's understandable. I mean, good teams pay players. I'm not begrudging any fan for feeling that way, but I think that they felt that this year that core would come together at the big league level offensively, and outside of Riley Green, it just hasn't.
You just mentioned it right there. The question I was going to ask next, you said, good teams pay players. Terry Skubal coming up. What do you think is going to happen? What would you like to happen?
Man, I love Tarek. I think what's crazy is because pitching injuries are so prevalent, there's always a concern with a guy like that, and I get it. Like, But you could say that literally about any player in baseball, right? Like you could say, you could look at any rookie and be like, man, this guy's great, but what happens if he gets injured? I don't think 27-year-old perennial Cy Young caliber pitchers who throw 100 from the left side, they don't grow on trees. At the same time, it's difficult. You're not competitive offensively at all with anybody on the mound. They've gotten lucky with Skubal where for some reason they'll pop off and they'll score 5 runs for him. But besides that, as much as I love them, guys like Flaherty and Olson, like Reese Olson's pitched great baseball at points this year. He's 1-8. I love Tarek. I think Tarek will be a Cy Young caliber pitcher for a long time. But what I don't want is Tarek Skubal to be putting up a 2.5 ERA and finishing the year with an 8-10 record because the offense fails to get any runs for him. Now, again, in a few weeks, when the deadline comes around, we could start feeling better about the core. Maybe some of these guys start hitting. Then I think we can entertain the idea of, okay, maybe an extension in the offseason. But I think with each passing day that this offense doesn't develop, he would be, and I'm trying to think, but I don't think there's anyone I'm missing. He would get the biggest haul of any player at the deadline. And I don't want to really entertain it because it means you're trading away another guy that you think is part of your core here. But I think there's a legit chance, like I said, with each passing day, it increases of him being a guy that you can build a system of guys around Tarek Skubal if you play your cards right. I would prefer he be here, but I think that's something that's going to be in the cards. If not, yeah, like you brought it up. I know he's a Boris Klein and everything, but one thing Scott Harris has talked about is we want to develop and retain good young players. So he's 27. He's going to be a free agent in 2 years. If you feel like you have an offense that's capable of supporting him, why not offer him something at the end of this season? Because in my opinion, he's entering his prime right now. So why not take a chance? But we'll see.
Yeah, I hate that we even have to have this discussion about Skubal because they did punt on the offseason. If you gave this team an offense, we'd be way better. If you brought in some big league bats, and talking about that, looking forward to the future, I think that's how you have to do this. The Tigers organizations have been built when they were winning, when they signed big free agents and traded for actual quality bats. And they traded prospects to do so. Would you be willing to trade some of your big name prospects for actual big league hitters?
Yes, but that would be something I'd more so entertain towards the end of the year than at the deadline this year. I genuinely think, and it's unfortunate, I just don't really think this team is going anywhere. Even if you add pieces at the deadline, I think the one thing that Scott Harris has done a good job of, regardless of whether or not these guys develop. Last year, at this point, this farm system was ranked in the 20s in terms of best farm systems in baseball. Right now, pretty much, I see them across the board in the top 5 or 10. That means that they've added a lot of depth. And with depth comes the ability to trade away a few potential pieces. Now, I think that what you would look for potentially if you're going to make moves is, I don't think that they want to trade any of these position players because, you don't have a proven track record of developing them. And the biggest reason why you've been non-competitive over the last several years is your lack of development of position players. But they have done a good job of building tremendous depth from a pitching standpoint within the organization. And I could see something similar to, on a bigger scale, similar to what they did in the offseason with Canna, where it's like, hey, let's go out and get a professional bat with, good team control for a few years. That's going to provide some pop in the middle of the lineup. Teams, ultimately, and like Canna's a fine player, he's not amazing, but that's a good deal. Like that more, if you build a team of Mark Cannas, you're going to probably have a pretty good offense. And so I think hopefully we can get to the end of this year, look at the depth they have in their system, and maybe they can finally make a move.
And then our intern Caleb, I'd like to introduce him. He has a question for you as well.
What's going on, Chris? We talk a lot about like the young core we were supposed to have: Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Kerry Carpenter, Colt Keith. But when looking at that pitching core we had, it was supposed to be Tarek Skubal, who's probably exceeded expectations. It was supposed to be Casey Mize, Alex Faedo, Matt Manning. How patient should we be on guys like Casey Mize and Matt Manning and even Faedo?
Yeah, well, I think you have to take it on a case-by-case basis. It's very fair to say that, they hyped these guys up like crazy. Like, the expectation legitimately, and I remember them talking about it, was that this pitching core was going to be like the 90s Braves when they had Maddox and Glavine and Tom Smoltz. Like, we got to accept, as tough as it is, that's not going to happen. Now, Skubal, that's what, like you said, Skubal has basically become what we thought Mize would be. Top level, top tier guy, top of the rotation, Cy Young caliber. He's going to miss a lot of bats. Faedo, I think injuries got in the way, but I think he's found a home as that in that long relief role coming out of the pen. And with bullpens being as deep as they are nowadays, there's a spot for somebody like that. With Mize and Manning, I think that they're in very similar spots where the stuff is fine. They've had injuries, but it seems like for the most part they've been able to deal with them. Maybe that their stuff hasn't improved because of it, but I think as a whole they've been able to find their way back onto a major league mound. The issue that they both run into, and it's bizarre for guys that were top prospects who threw upper 90s fastballs, is the lack of swing and miss. We talk about it with Mize, and it's more noticeable because we've seen him at the big league level more so this year, but Manning struggled with it as well. And I just think the expectation for them, sadly at this point, their ceiling is that of like a solid number 3, number 4 starter. And like I said with Faedo, like there's a place for that in big league level. You have a rotation of 5 guys for a reason. I think Mize's stuff is still solid, but hitters are smarter than they've ever been, and they're capable of putting the ball in play more so than they have in the past. And I know that there's a lot of strikeouts, but if you have a pitcher, it's why strikeouts are so valuable. It takes away the possibility of human error. It takes away the possibility of bloopers. I think that one of the big issues Mize has run into is that guys extend counts against him. I wish I could explain totally why this is the issue. I know he's had Tommy John and everything, but it feels like when he's pitching, sometimes it's like pulling teeth with these guys because these guys grind out at bats against them. But I think right now you got to just hope, one, they continue to stay healthy, and 2, that they can continue to try to give you those productive outings. But the explosiveness that we see from Skubal, I don't think we're ever going to see from the other 2 guys.
Chris, I appreciate you taking the time to join us, man. I want to get you out of here on a lighthearted question here.
Yeah.
Can we get a commitment out of you to watch The Boys? It's one of my favorite pieces of Chris Castellani content, was breaking down film, breaking down shows, stuff like that. Can we get a commitment out of you to watch The Boys?
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I've been, I got plenty of time on my hands now, so shit, I should probably do it. What's weird is it's one of those things I know I would like. People recommend things to me all the time. I'm like, I'd probably like that. I love, as somebody who grew up in like the golden age of comic book movies, I love the deconstructing of superheroes. I think there's so many different things that you can do with them. You can make them more adult. And so I'm sure it's something that I would enjoy. Not a ton of episodes either. So I know it's season 4 right now, right?
Season 4, yeah.
Okay. And is that the last one, or they say they're doing one more?
No, there's one more season.
Okay. Then that's the perfect time probably for me to get into it. Yes. My commitment is I'm not going to say I'll have watched the entire thing. The next time you guys have me on the show, I will have watched The Boys. Yes.
Let's go. I appreciate you.
Shout out, Chris.
Anything you want to plug before we let you get going?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at X at Castellani 2014. There you'll find the links to everything else. We've kicked off a Patreon, so if you're looking for, the post-game Tiger videos are still there, but kind of some exclusive content like series previews, talking about trade scenarios, talking about player call-ups. That's all there. It's $5 a month for everything. So there's nothing else besides. All that content is going to be behind a paywall. I'm not going to upcharge people. Just $5 a month. YouTube channel. My producer Austin's working on videos. I'm trying to post one a week, once every 2 weeks. Baseball video editorials, as well as just other fun stuff that I want to post to my YouTube channel. So all that stuff is there, and I appreciate all you guys continuing to support. It means a lot.
Shout out, Chris.
Appreciate you taking time. Like I said, one of the best in the. Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course, guys.
Nick.
I love the insight. I mean, it's sad insight right now. That's where the Tigers are. Once again, we are sellers in the summer. That's where the Tigers organization is at. And I think the big reason why is Chris Ilitch not spending.
Yeah.
And I think he has run out of excuses to why he hasn't, especially when you have guys like Terry Skubal, Jack Flaherty, Reese Olson pitching so well.
Yeah.
And you just can't hit a ball to save your life.
Yeah, it sucks we got to go to break, because I do have a question about the Tigers, and I didn't plan on talking about this much Tigers, but here we go. But first, tell us about Feldman Auto.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the nearest location. Since 1996, Feldman Auto has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than Pets?
No, you're good.
Come on, A baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
Woodward Sports has a new morning show. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction, all on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Let's go.
Damn, Joel.
Gotta check out that morning show.
Dude, there was some enthusiasm.
You're doing your boys dirty.
Bro, that's just how I talk. I
Do you-
talk like a little too monotone.
Do you you ever seen that movie or clips for the movie? What the hell is it called? Thanks for taking my call or something like that.
Thanks for
Never seen
I've
it.
never heard that.
I gotta find it. Do you have a white voice? Like a voice you do like when you interview or when you pick up the phone for like.
Oh no, you talking? I know what movie you talking about with Danny Glover and Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes, what's it called?
It's called.
It's something along those lines.
It is something like that. But no, I know what you're talking about. Like, hey, how are you? Like,
Yeah,
Wake Up Woodward has a new morning show. Started.
Yeah.
Woodward Sports. Friday, 8 to 10, live. Like, Flannel Sam, Kool-Aid, JB, milk. I'm ecstatic.
Can we get that for the next ad read?
Bet.
Let's go. I was like, hey, let's get it in. Hey, smash that like button. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Share the stream. Got a couple places we could take this one. Obviously, Langdon just had his presser. We just spoke with Chris Castellani. I got Tigers questions fresh in my mind. And then we also could just turn the show a little bit positive because it intentionally start negative. It's just where these franchises are at.
Yeah, talk about two horrible franchises right now. There's no other way around it. Like, that was the most depressing start I think I've ever seen.
Okay.
I think I'm ready to
All
turn the page. We need to get to a real organization that is actually searching for a Super Bowl and that can actually get it.
What we get into, Nick, this next
Talk
one
about
you cooked
championships. Okay, let's get this then. I mean, they're a part of it. It's the off-season winners and losers. I know a list came out at ESPN a little while ago.
Whack list.
Horrible list. So we turned to The Athletic, and that's where we're going to go with this one. NFL offseason winners and losers. Easy.
Yes, sir.
We have obvious winners and losers. Is there anybody that stands out to you when it comes to winners? I would like to get your guess before we break this down that you thought won the offseason around the NFL.
Outside of the Lions?
Outside of the Lions.
The Lions on the list confirmed.
I'll give you the Lions.
Okay.
Our
all right.
winners.
How many teams are we talking here?
I believe it's 10.
10 winners?
5 and 5.
You know what? They're in the division.
5 winners, 5 losers.
In the division, so it makes things kind of a little interesting. The Chicago Bears are probably on the winner list.
That they are.
Yes, sir.
1 for 1. Who else you got? Anybody else you cooking up?
Let me see.
Put in the chat who you guys think won the offseason along
see.
with the Lions around the NFL.
Maybe. Well, Texans are definitely in there. I was trying to think of NFC teams, but Texans got to be in there, no?
They're not.
The Texans aren't in there as winners?
That's actually, I did not even think of that. That's crazy.
That's actually insane. The Texans aren't in there.
That's a brutal look.
They grabbed Stephon Diggs. They retained Schultz.
Yeah.
They also grabbed the kid from Joe Mixon. That's actually wild. They're not in that list. Another winner off the top of my head. You're going to have to give me one, man.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
That makes sense.
The Philadelphia Eagles were one of the biggest winners this offseason, I think.
Yeah.
They got that secondary back where it needs to be, I think, in my eyes. And then you obviously add a beast in Saquon. Can he stay healthy? I guess we'll have to see. But where are you at with the Eagles? Do you think they won this offseason as well?
I do. I think they obviously had a talented team. You saw them coming off their Super Bowl berth just the previous year. I think where they fell short is they lost those genius coordinators they had. I'm talking about Shane Steichen, My man that's in Arizona right now, too. Those guys, I think, are both phenomenal coaches. I think they moved on to going to become phenomenal head coaches as well. Shane Steichen almost made the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. However, obviously, they're avoiding those positions. They didn't address them, I guess, in the best way. I think they did that this season with proven guys, too. Not guys you can question. Like I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're promising you last year, but now the new coordinator we never heard of. I can't tell you about it. The situation with the Eagles is a little bit different. They went and got Kellen Moore, the guy who started his career technically here in Detroit, once as a player, and then again as a quarterback coach, moved on offensive coordinator, and you know the story from there. I think he's a damn good offensive coordinator. I really do. And they also grabbed one of the best to ever do it, a defensive coordinator, is Vic Fangio. And he's also got pieces to go along with that. They didn't just add these coaches. Quinyon Mitchell, highly regarded as the best quarterback in this draft class. They also grabbed Cooper Kupp. Not Cooper Kupp, I'm sorry. He all look the same.
Cooper DeJean, was it the big white truth?
They all look the same to me. I apologize. What do you call him? The big white truth?
I don't even know what it is.
Cooper DeJean. They also grabbed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They haven't made the Super Bowl run. Yeah, the Eagles are going to be a lot better than people are to give them credit for. Not only they grab talent, but they also grab the coaches. I think that's most important.
Yeah, I got to say, I think a lot of Detroit fans do not want to hear that the Eagles are going to be good, but I think that they will be good. Talking about another team, this one was a little surprising to me that won the offseason. Washington Commanders. What? Do you have faith that Jaden Daniels is going to be a franchise quarterback moving forward? Because this organization's been a dumpster fire for a long time.
Yeah, I'm not counting it out from the things I've heard so far in minicamp.
Yeah.
But again, it's minicamp, right? I don't know. I think their leadership is still in question. Obviously, Ben Johnson had the opportunity to go there and become the head coach. He chose not to. He didn't have faith in their leadership. And I think he has, after being around the Detroit Lions, he probably has a good taste or affinity for what leadership looks like. You know what I'm saying? And the Commanders didn't have that. So, no, actually, I don't have faith in the Commanders.
Yeah, I thought that one was odd to me.
To have them over the Texans is crazy to me.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't know if Jeff Olson is in the chat, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, surprising winner in my eyes. But do you think they've done enough this offseason to be winners regarded?
I thought about saying them, but I didn't want to be wrong. And it
I am never wrong.
I would have been right had I said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After this one, we got to go to break, but I guess I'm not surprised. No, they retained the quarterback that helped get them to the playoffs last year, helped win them a playoff game, and they also retained Mike Evans, who was a huge part of that. I think you had him missing from your top 10 wide receivers, and sadly mistaken. He had 1,200 yards.
I did.
13 touchdowns. He's still a beast, Mr. Consistent. Mike Evans, a dog. I think, who's the running back they got? It's not Pritchard. It's something.
Washington?
No, the Buccaneers.
White, Rashad White.
Rashad White. I think he's going to take another step in his game, too. I think everything they did in terms of getting better was retain the pieces that already made them successful, on top of adding a little bit of offensive line help and some defense. We'll get to the rest of these winners when we get back, though. First,
talk about defense.
Yes, sir.
It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians can take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
Call 1-800.
Stay out.
And let them know Guardian Alarm sent you.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Not gonna lie, I partook myself just before the show. And that's after I visited Dispo, the #1, the best local campus plug in the state of Michigan. There's 6 locations more across the great state of Michigan. Your local cannabis plug for that reason. And they also happen to have the best curated cannabis, the best bud tenders, and the best deals. Find one near you at DispoShops.com or get it delivered to your door with Dispo Dash. It's Dispo, your local cannabis plug. Must be 21 up and older. Do I have to say that? I'm pretty sure I
think you have to say that.
Yeah, pretty sure I probably start.
What a world we're living in.
Hey.
We're doing Dispo reads. Oh, my God. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Detroit Lions obviously on the winning list.
Yep.
And you said you want to get to that. There's also some losers we're going to talk as well.
Yeah, we got 5 losers as well.
Okay. Kool-Aid. We might call Audible, have Kool-Aid join the show because he's coming fresh off the presser.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Shout out Kool-Aid.
Shout out Kool-Aid. Shout out Beth. Just for
Always.
just doing Beth things all the time. No one does Beth like Beth.
Nobody.
Hey,
Let's go.
Who are the? Do you have the blurb on the lines?
Let's.
We know why
Chris,
they won. Who are the losers?
Yeah. All right. We'll circle back to the Lions
Well,
because
if you want, we can do the Lions.
We got to hear about that one pride.
Okay.
Lions fans are dying
All right,
to
give it
hear
in.
some Lions.
Here's your confirmation bias for the day.
Here's your confirmation bias if you want to throw it up, Chris. For our audio listeners, determined to build on last season's march to the NFC Championship game, Detroit locked up offensive cornerstones and quarterback Jared Goff, wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, and tackle Penei Sewell. It also hit on free agent signings of defensive tackle DJ Reader, edge rusher Marcus Davenport, cornerback Carlton Davis, and guard Kevin Zeitler. The Lions also had one of the most productive drafts in the league, led by their selections of talented defensive backs Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Let's go.
Come on, baby. We knew that. I mean, listen. I do love the confirmation on my guy Terrion.
Oh my God.
I know you love it too, Microwave Nick.
Yes.
He ain't starting. He's a bust.
First team All Pro. No, I'm just kidding. All right. But he's going to be a great cornerback, I think, for this team.
He's definitely going to hold his own. A lot better than the pieces we had last year, I'd have to say. I was watching, he posted on his own Instagram too, but his footwork and his hips.
Oh my God.
I know he didn't have the fastest 40, but like Richard Sherman, same thing. Ended up being like an all-time great corner. Played in a zone-specific scheme that helped him with that. However, there's tricks to the trade to make these guys better. We see these guys all the time. Some of the greats have played for a very long time. Tricks to the trade. They lose the athleticism, the speed. That's what goes first. But just the knowledge of the game, that's what keeps him around for a long time. I think Terrion is going to be one of those type of players if he stays a Detroit Lion, catches in the Super Bowl and gets that gold jacket as a Detroit Lion.
Oh, yeah. His movement is so smooth. I mean, a lot of those videos are kind of going viral a little bit, just the way that he looks. Yeah, it's extremely impressive. And the one thing coming out of the draft that I was looking for was this team to move up and target a blue chip defensive prospect.
Yep.
And I believe that's exactly what they did. You think about guys like Brian Branch and you think about a guy like Brian Branch making a second-year leap on that defense. You think about a Jack Campbell making that second-year leap. I love the fact that we helped out our young rookie cornerbacks by helping out this defensive line. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest reasons why they're set up for success. And that's good to see an organization do that. Supplement this young talent with actual veterans that know how to play.
You guys have some conversations with guys that covered around the league when it comes to Marcus Davenport. Obviously, next week, if you guys haven't heard the news already, we'll be joined by Mina Kimes. Aiming for Tuesday, not sure what day specifically. But shout out to Mina Kimes for being a real one. But just asking about some of the lesser-known Detroit Lion acquisitions, like Marcus Davenport, and some of the feedback I got on him was he plays just how he looks. And if you guys don't know, he's 6'6", 246 pounds. He's a behemoth of a man. So we got another fucking monster on the defensive line. But yeah, man, Lions are definitely winners. And like you mentioned, one thing too that's not going to be in an article is just the year 2 leaps from Gibbs, from Laporta, from Campbell. Like that's the other piece of it. That's how we got Mina on the show.
Yeah,
because we talked about the top 10 offenses, and she almost let the Detroit Lions out on 6. I think she ended up putting them at 5, but she didn't factor in the year 2 leaps for guys that were already huge contributing pieces of this offense, and Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, she knew the One Pride Army was going to come after her. And shout out the Bulge Army for showing up in the Twitter comment section. But yeah, so Lions obvious winners here. I love that they got some recognition in this article. But some of the losers, I gotta give me a couple guesses first off.
Losers
lost the offseason.
I personally,
Caleb, you as well. Let me know if you got any losers if you haven't seen it yet.
I personally don't think they're losers, but I could see it being perceived that way. The Minnesota Vikings? No, just the ESPN. Seth Wall. Okay. All right, well, I got that one wrong. I got to pass up to you.
Losers of the offseason.
Giants?
Chris, you got any guesses? I'm trying to think.
Chris can see it.
Oh, yeah, Chris has the answers. Patriots.
Throwing up. No.
Broncos.
Dolphins?
No, man. All right, I'm throwing one up.
All right, let's
Giants.
go. This is the biggest loser of them all.
Jacksonville.
Do that first loser, please, Chris.
All right. I know which one you want.
Chris is on the screen. He goes,
I
"This
know
is the
which one you
biggest
want.
loser of them all."
Oh.
Dallas Cowboys. Oh yeah. What was I thinking?
Yeah, the Cowboys.
So a national media
Yeah.
member
Yep.
claimed the Cowboys is a loser.
Yes.
Not named Stephen A.
Love
Smith.
it.
Crazy.
It's got to be a first all time. This could break the Guinness World Record book.
Yeah.
The Cowboys not getting slobbed
It
for
had to
once.
be an accident. It had to be a typo.
Is anybody in the chat that I love to argue and give?
Yeah, they did say Cowboys easily. Yep, they knew.
Okay.
Yep, shout out the chat
Shout
for
out to the
getting
chat.
that one right.
Well, there's no order with these, but I just knew where Nick wanted to go with that.
Yeah.
Losers.
Oh, they have the worst fan base in the world, too. I got to say, Cowboys fans, absolute worst. I
Cowboys
cannot wait to get revenge on the Dallas Cowboys this season. It's going to taste so great in Jerry's world, honestly. Like going down Dallas, it's probably going to get taken over by some Lions fans. You know that they represent on the road.
Do you know what week it is? I know you got season tickets. You might have no schedule a little bit better than me.
I'm
week
not
5?
sure.
That's
I'm,
early.
I'm actually going out to Houston this year, which I'm
I think
thrilled
week 5
about.
is
Yeah.
Like
I'm
right
fired
after.
up for
I think
that.
It's 6.
But I've been to Jerry's World before. I've seen him come off of the chopper. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, Lions get their comeuppance this year.
Can I tell you how I think the revenge comes? By the way, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, week 5.
Oh yeah,
Good
after the
shit,
bye.
Joel.
Yep. Shout out Joel. How do you
I hate
think?
him
How do you
early.
think this revenge goes?
Defensive shutout.
What?
In the best way. We're gonna go there and whoop them. They're gonna be wearing the white jerseys.
We're gonna shut them out.
This is a Sunday. What day is this one on?
I think it's a Sunday at 4:25.
Sunday at 4:25.
Good call.
Hopefully, and I don't think it'll end up being this way. It'd be cool if we could wear our black jerseys. Just go there and
I
just
wish
be the
we
absolute fucking bully of them. But yeah, look at the offensive stalemate it kind of was last year. That game ended up being like CD had that one breakout, and that was partly because our guy Derek Barnes missed his assignment on that sack.
Oh
He could
my
easily had a
God.
sack there. Now we got again. Our defense got better. Their defense. Did they make any acquisitions? I mean, they're on this loser list for a reason. We're gonna go there. We're gonna be pissed off. We finally got better on defense. We got better enough on our offense too, and we're just gonna stall them out, keep the ball in our hands, and yeah, we're gonna stop them defensively.
I love
That's
that.
what I'm
You
telling
are
you right
calling the shutout on June 21st.
If not a shout, no more than 10 points.
All right, don't circle back now. Don't circle back now.
Fuck it, shut up.
Let's go,
Fuck 'em.
baby. Let's go.
Fuck them.
Come on. All right, Dallas Cowboys, first year losers. And speaking of losers, I mean, they re-signed Zeke Elliott to be their number 1 back. What are we doing here?
Yeah, that's crazy.
He ain't gonna be eating
I
much.
did
I'll
let him
tell
go.
you that.
Who else got on that loser list, Chris? Put up anybody.
Okay, go
ahead.
just
You
rank.
pick one.
Okay.
Okay.
You pick one, Nick.
This one holds close to your heart because it is a former number 1 quarterback that plays down in Florida, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, man.
If you want to throw it up, Chris.
Yes, sir.
All right, can I yeah, I have a microphone in front of me. This is my show, right?
I do.
And I didn't
Kinda.
catch the entire segment, so I don't want to completely air raid and attack my guy, Unky Neal, and whoever else. Spinny, I know, but he does it more so as a troll. The people that just question my guy, Trevor Lawrence, last year led the league in EPA drops. And I put out the highlight tape, actually, on my Twitter, @SpeakySports_. You go look it out right now. The amount of touchdown, not just passes, touchdown passes dropped by that receiving core last year, disgusting. Led the league. Catchable balls. Putting it right in his fucking hand. On top of that, too, I love when I see like the passing stats of Trevor Lawrence compared to a Blake Bortles, compared to, I think it's a Mac Jones, another one I see quite often. Does no one know Trevor Lawrence also can run? It's the same way when you bring up Josh Allen's numbers, which are still astronomical and insane. But you can't put up Josh Allen's numbers as a dual threat quarterback who's running the football and expect them to equate that to a pocket passer like our guy JG. Like, the numbers aren't going to be the same. But obviously, Josh Allen possesses the ability to run. The passing numbers aren't going to be the same. I do agree in some sense that they didn't put enough around him. I feel like I would have rather grabbed some other pieces. They failed to bring out Ridley or bring back Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley, Kirk.
They did grab Robinson or Brian Thompson. I should.
Oh, Brian Thompson Jr.?
Yes, from LSU. But he does
We
feel a
liked
little
him.
raw.
We liked him coming
a
out
lot.
of the draft.
I liked him a lot. He's a little raw. It is a vertical offense, though. I think this is going to, maybe you could say, yeah, they lost their offseason, but I think they're going to be competitive this year.
I think the reason behind the Trevor Lawrence slander that like you hear is because he was built up to be, the next Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or however way you want to do it. But he was like the generational quarterback. He was supposed to be the next great, and he hasn't proved it yet. So I can see why he does get some criticism because he was built to be this next level, can't miss type guy. And he's been to the playoff. He's won a playoff game. Biggest playoff comeback. Shout out another guy, Justin Herbert, choke season. But
Honestly,
I think he just needs to, be a little bit more consistent. That's where I'm at with Trevor Lawrence. Just do it for a little bit longer. But talking about another loser here.
What up, Chris?
I just have a question that ties back to Detroit with Trevor Lawrence, and I kind of had this as we were having this discussion throughout last year, Trevor Lawrence being disappointing. Is there and this is super long term, he's young, I don't want to make this whole projection, but I kind of have this gut feeling that he's gonna have a Jared Goff type arc where he's gonna reach that point where he gets cast out and he gets labeled as the guy that we thought was the guy, but isn't really the guy, but he just needed to fall into the right situation. I think Trevor Lawrence could be that, because I do see the talent. I'm with Easy. There's real talent there. I don't know if, and I'm not putting it entirely on Jacksonville. Part of it is too, maybe you just need to mature, but I could see an arc like that for Trevor Lawrence. I really could.
He just got the bag, though. That's the tough part about that. He just
but Goff got the bag and got cast aside.
Yeah, true.
And then found success here in Detroit.
I was actually earlier today, I was looking at Trevor Lawrence's cap hits because I was curious about that, because the next discussion we're going to have is going to be a really interesting one where I've kind of been batting on the other side, and then now I'm going to come to
the good
side.
Yeah.
You guys going to like the side I'm on this time.
Put down the red lightsaber.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence's numbers on that contract, beautiful. I don't think a single other year until it comes the last year is above that 12%. The 12% rule we're going to talk about when we get back here, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence every single year is 20 million. Nothing above, nothing astronomical up until the last year. It's a 74 million. But at that point, if Trevor Lawrence is delivering as expected, you have void years, you stretch that out, or you just re-up them and spread it across that way. The same way Patrick Mahomes just has the past 2 years. Trevor, I'll pull up the numbers when we get back, but no, that contract's actually really team friendly.
Yeah, real quick before we hit break. The last loser on this list, San Francisco 49ers, who the Lions are going to be competing with to get to that Super Bowl. Yeah, but they lost Kinlaw, Armstead, Leonard Floyd, Gross Matos, Jordan Elliott.
Kinlaw's gone?
Yeah.
Injured?
Also the Ayuk
Oh,
situation?
no, my bad. They
Okay.
ignited. Yeah, Kinlaw's gone.
All right, real quick, before we go to break, I just read you Trevor Lawrence's cap hits next 4 years, next 5 years if you want. 2024, $15 million. That's only 5% of the salary cap. And 2025, $17 million. That's 6.5% of the team salary cap. And then you finally get in the 20s, but those are last year's big quarterback numbers. That's only 8.5% of the team salary cap at $24 million. The following year, in 2027, projects to be $35 million. I'm sorry, it is $35 million, but only projects to be 11% of that team salary cap. That's a team-friendly deal. However, following that, 47, 78, 74, that's when it gets big.
Yeah,
but
that's
again,
78, 74.
If we perform to what you expect, that's when you re-up them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Either way, we do got to go to break. When we get back, I'm joining you slappies once and for all. I may be putting down my sword for a certain argument. You guys will be happy about it. I promise you.
Some disrespect from one of the biggest names in sports media when it comes to your Detroit Lions, but no disrespect. These Lady Janes knows how to do it. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, and relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Love Woodward Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers, with one major difference. Family and locally owned and operated for 30 plus years. Over 600 over 60 brands of food and nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local, curbside, and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live on WorldSports.com. Your boy Easy, joined by Microwave Nick. I'm so used to saying Spanish name. I apologize.
Yeah, you're good, bro. I'm fired up. I mean, it's Friday. We're talking sports. What can be better than this? And luckily, we're talking about Lions and not the two other organizations in this town that we had to sadly start this show off with.
Yes, sir. We may round back to that at some point, but real quick, I want to get this out of the way. Shout out Joel for filling in the sound booth. Caleb joining us as well. Chris is always in the ones and twos. But real quick, I wanted to update everybody with some news. I did see the chat. I didn't think it was serious. I thought I was getting trolled for a minute, but no. Barry Sanders, in fact, did have some health complications over the weekend. This is a message from Barry directly. I believe it was posted on the Detroit Lions Twitter. Shout out to JB for sending it and Pool. But he says, to all my supporters, over Father's Day weekend, I experienced a health scare related to my heart. It was unexpected and served as a reminder of the importance of staying vigilant about our physical well-being, even when we are feeling fine. I'm grateful for the amazing doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals providing me with the needed care. My family and I are thankful for your prayers and support during this time. Per my doctor's recommendation, I am taking this opportunity to prioritize my health and well-being. I appreciate your understanding and continued support. Kind of spooky, kind of scary. We're coming off the same week. Obviously, we lost another legend in Willie Mays. I got goosebumps on that one, but I'm happy Barry's okay.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, I'm happy. One thing I'll say for sure, and again, I don't want the show to be super sad. If you guys want to speak on Barry, go ahead. Nothing bad happened though, so don't be too depressing about it. But I'm glad that man got his flowers while he was here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad he got the Barry doc on Amazon. I'm glad he got the statue. I'm glad he gets the roaring ovation from fans nationwide, by the way. You remember the cover of Madden 25? That was Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And it's highly regarded as one of the best Madden covers ever because he's one of the best players ever. Shout out to Barry Sanders and take your time and get well, man. There's no need for the GOAT to come out. We know who you are. You don't need to be making any appearances. If you start a Patreon, Talk Lions, I'll guarantee you're throwing 5 on that one too, Barry.
The world of football will wait for you, Barry. Like get healthy. Like some people, they don't have the luxury to come and go as they please. You have earned that luxury with your play and your status in the game. So there is no rush. Take care of yourself, and when you're ready, the world will always be ready to hear Barry Sanders speak football.
Amen.
Yeah, you think about the legends that just passed. I mean, Bill Walton, Jerry West, Willie Mays. Like, thank God everything is okay here, honestly. Like, Detroit legend. I absolutely love the statue out front. I think it adds a lot to the Ford Field, honestly. I think it's really cool when you're walking through it. I love that he got a statue.
I do actually have a story about Barry Sanders. I actually met Barry Sanders before. We were at a basketball tournament at Country Day in like middle school. We were like 8th grade, and my one friend dad walked up to us. He was like, "That's Barry Sanders sitting down over there." We like, "What the fuck are you talking about? There's no way Barry Sanders just sitting down and nobody like he just cooling like a regular parent and nobody saying nothing to him." So we just walk over to see if he lying. He like, "I'm not lying to y'all." So we walk over, see it. It's actually Barry Sanders. We was like, "What you call it?" My other friend, he don't really watch football, so he didn't really know like the magnitude. But I was like actually like going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, like Barry Sanders. But I was like keeping it cordial because I could tell he was like just chilling, trying to keep a low profile. Yeah, so I was just like giving him his flowers and stuff, giving him his respect. I didn't even ask to take a picture or anything. I just like kept it at that, shook his hand,
That's
got
awesome.
ready for our game. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite times to like actually just meet Barry Sanders, just have a quick little conversation with him.
What AAU team were you on?
It wasn't even it was a team that my friend dad had started, and we used to just like playing like a whole bunch of summer leagues and travel and stuff.
Shout out Basketball City Hoopers.
That low ass.
No, we was actually like legit.
Yeah, bro,
we was
you
legit.
remember?
Like actually used to go on like tournaments and shit. Like we played up, was like whooping through everybody.
Whooping feet.
Talking about legends here, should we dive into it or should we wait till next segment?
Probably give this one some time. 5 minutes that won't do it justice, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I mean, feel free to speak on. I mean, Caleb, you have anything you want to say on Barry?
Yeah, kind of like you said, like, I'm glad that he got his flowers when he was here because you see a lot of athletes, great athletes, play on not so great teams and not get, the recognition they deserve. And he's one of the best ever in the game. I hope he gets healthy and, yeah, just straight up legend.
Jim Everett the Great has to be trolling Stafford statue in Detroit.
No.
Hell no.
No.
Best thing Stafford did for Detroit was get traded for this rebuild.
The best thing Stafford did for Detroit was.
It hurts, but it's true.
I mean, there's no debate on it, I don't think.
You know what is debatable? I kind of want to ask you, Nick.
What's up?
Because Spinney said it yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago, and I didn't have the. This wasn't the time to have that conversation. That wasn't the topic at hand.
Yeah.
But he mentioned Jared Goff as the best quarterback in Detroit Lions history. Are you ready to say that?
100%. 1,000%. There's without a doubt. He brought us back to where we could only dream of going. He brought us to where we were dreaming of going for so long. And I don't care about numbers. I don't care about flash. This dude is a leader of men in that locker room. And that's what matters to me. You can look pretty doing it, or you can look ugly as hell and not be able to run the ball for a first down if it's right in front of your face. Shout out Jared Goff. Like, he is not flashy. He's not pretty, but he gets the job done, and he got it done here. I am 100% willing to say that he's the best quarterback in Lions history after winning that game against the Rams and then after winning that game against the Bucs. And I think we should have won that game. I don't think in San Francisco, I don't believe that was on Jared Goff. I believe it was on Josh Reynolds. I believe it was on Gibbs for fumbling, Kindle Vildor face mask. Those are the three biggest reasons why we lost, and none of that had to do with Jared Goff, I believe.
I respect you for saying Kindle Vildor face mask.
Everyone knows.
They're talking about the actual penalty. Oh, I'm talking about the pass interference. It was pass interference before the face mask. Why does everyone forget that?
I think he picked up the flag.
No. Well, yeah, they picked up the flag because he caught the ball. But had he not caught the ball, they're not picking up that flag, and it's a first down in the red zone regardless.
That was one of the ugliest touchdowns I've seen in my life.
It wasn't
I don't
even a
think
touchdown.
it is just like deeply implanted to my brain, that play off the face mask. It's the ugliest
You
move
remember
ever.
it wrong. You got deeply implanted the wrong way. There was a penalty on that play.
Yeah, you got implanted wrong.
I don't
All right,
think
I guess.
it was.
What'd you say?
I don't think it was a penalty on that play.
No, they picked up the flag.
They picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they picked it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is. I guess I can't hate anybody that has JG as the best quarterback. I just don't know. Like, I don't look at it as he brought us there. I look at it as he was a part of it. Like
what's the difference?
The difference is, and this happens with the quarterback position. Sometimes a little too much credit, a little too much blame. And I get that they're touching the ball in every single play. That's why you're familiarized the results of the game to them. And they obviously are the ones that, again, you can throw a touchdown or you turn the ball over. I just feel like it's the culture. It's the Chris Spielman we got to listen to on that CBS podcast. Is from then on to Brad Holmes drafting the people surrounding Jared Goff, and then to Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, put it all together. I think it's more like a cohesive. I guess I'm not looking at it as one guy.
I get what you're saying. Like, to your point, I like when people like bring up a lot of quarterbacks that they say like, do you think they better than Jared Goff, or is this quarterback better than Jared Goff? Wait, turn it on.
It's a little louder.
My bad.
So
what's your call? Yeah, they like, do you think this one is better than Jared Goff or the other is better than Jared Goff? It's like you can really replace, like, have any quarterback in this system almost.
Okay.
Yes.
And to that point, you can have any quarterback in the system.
If Matthew Stafford was in this system.
God, you guys are discrediting Goff, though.
Why am I discrediting
I'm not discrediting Goff. I'm saying any quarterback. I'm saying, like, to easy point, like, he's part of a system. He's part of a cohesive, like.
But he's a massive part of that system, which I don't think.
The quarterback, but
it's like he's a quarterback, so of course he's going to be a massive part of it.
But they've built this system around him.
You want an example of it?
I was going to say prime example, like the Chiefs. You look at the Chiefs, you see Patrick Mahomes is the head of that. They follow to his lead. The Lions are more so like it's a pack of people.
Yes.
That's
I
how
agree.
I look at
and
it.
I think he's a massive part of the pack.
And I look at them
Here's the best example of it right here. Jared Goff was in LA. Place it, Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl. Literally the very next year.
They went out and got Ramsey.
And that's the point I'm making with this Detroit
Odell
Lions
Beckham
offense.
Jr.
If you were to make an upgrade there, and there's nothing wrong. Like this, JG's doing his damn thing. That's not discredit to him.
No,
it's just there's levels. And that's why I'm not shouldering him with the comeback of the franchise. Now, he's a part of it, but he's not the sole reason why. We saw he was here in 2021, wasn't he?
Yeah, this team was absolute garbage.
No. Same team. Amon-Ra St. Brown. No.
Not the
as
same
a
team.
rookie,
Not the same team.
as a rookie.
Okay. Who was the leading wide receiver in 2021?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have Sam Laporta?
No Sam Laporta. They had T.J. Hawkinson.
They have
Who arguably had a
Jameson
better year.
Williams.
Huh?
They have J-Mo.
No, J-Mo. What did J-Mo contribute?
They had
J-Mo has like 5 career touchdowns. What are you talking about?
He's a weapon. He
Is it
expands
the
the
top
field
three-
to
the
allow
top
guys
three
like
wide
St. Brown
receivers in
Cook.
2021
they have
have been the
Demo
top 3 wide
Gibbs.
receivers for the Detroit Lions for the past 3 years. That's Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're all there in 2021. Change of coordinator, they're there in 2022. Difference is you're winning games.
Okay, this is a whole new entire system that they built together. You had to go through growing pains,
Different
but that
systems. Now we have
why
a
are you-
system
why are
coordinated
you-
helping this guy do his thing.
Easy. I feel like you do this. You look in the past of things that Jared Goff did in the past. I'm looking at present, future. Present and the future with Jared Goff.
No,
Is he
I'm
the
not
best
looking at the
quarterback
past.
this team's ever had? I think yes. I'm not looking back at the Rams. I'm not looking back at our 3-win season. I'm looking at what he's doing right now.
He's
and we are
balling.
Super Bowl contenders, and he's balling out. And I think we are actually going to win a Super Bowl.
He's balling, but that doesn't
He's
mean
won
he's
2
carrying,
playoff games.
He's carrying it. I'm the reason
I
why.
didn't say that. I
did
said
say
he's a
that.
big part of it.
Well, you said
Which
because
I
of
think
him.
he gets discredited for sometimes. That he is, people like to discredit the fact that he is a big reason why.
Well, I mean, he's the quarterback.
Yeah,
Like,
and he's
always
excelling
gonna
at
be
his job. He's excelling at it.
Again,
Who do you
plant
think?
somebody there do a little more? You might be doing a little more as a team. I don't want to discredit him. I do want to get to the quarterback conversation when we do get back because it does kind of. Well,
Yeah,
I
it does
guess
tie right into it.
It does tie right
That's
into
a-
that one.
Yeah, it does.
It does tie right into that one. But first, somebody got to tell us about Randy Wise. That somebody is me. Grab your celebrities and your golf clubs and head on down to the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. If you don't know how, it's very simple. There's a QR code right above my head right here. Scan said QR code and enter your opportunity to join celebrities such as Braylon Edwards, Darren McCarty. Jim Harbaugh was there last year too for the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza is taking over Michigan. Locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit, doubling the number of restaurants this year, known for their quality, hand-battered and hand-breaded chicken tenders, sandwiches, and New York-style pizza. Be sure to stop in and try a mega station near you or go to www.sorokis.com.
What up, welcome back to Woodward Heavyweights Live on WoodSports.com. And boy, easy joined by Microwave Nick.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Was that a microwave take?
Joel.
Yo.
Yeah, you rushed my man to greatness.
Yeah?
Rushed my
You
man
think
to
that's a
greatness.
microwave take to say he's the best quarterback?
What'd you say?
To say he's the best Lions quarterback of all time?
I guess it's where you want to judge it. Like who I would have the most fond memories of would be with Jared Goff.
Yep.
I'm I'm just not saying like he's the sole reason why any of it happened.
But if the real quick, if the original question was, is he the best Lions quarterback of all time? If it's not him, who is it? Is it Scott Mitchell? Is it Stafford? Is it
Bobby
who
Lane?
is
I
it?
saw in the chat.
Yeah, Bobby
I
Lane.
mean, if we
who is
we
it?
being for real with ourselves, bro, like being for real with ourselves, taking out like the playoff wins, like just looking at quarterback, our best quarterback play that we've had, I would have to say, like being able to like just put up numbers is Stafford, but like get us wins has been Goff. But it's hard to judge that because Goff has had, we can say, better team around him.
Yeah, a better team, but does he have a Hall of Famer on the outside?
Jared Goff?
No.
I mean,
Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
But it was just him and Calvin. It was just them two rocking out. It was literally just them two rocking out.
Stafford had
Coaching
every
matters.
single excuse in the book.
Yes, but he never had coaching though. He had every excuse, but he never had coaching.
You know, never had coaching. Never really had a defense
He
behind
literally
him.
left here and won the Super Bowl.
Stafford had some good defense.
Right where Jared Goff was.
One.
And he beat Tom Brady on his way to do it.
Do you think Jared Goff is going to win a Super Bowl here easy?
Well, according to Colin Cowherd,
let's go.
He won't. Chris?
But it always cracks me up. If you go to the last 12 quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl, there's only two ways to do it. Have a Mahomes, Stafford, Brady, Peyton Manning, next level superstar, like a really elite all-time guy. Or have a talented guy on a rookie contract. There are only 12 quarterbacks that are in the Super Bowl bubble this year. And I'll give you those 12 quarterbacks. The upper echelon guys who are really all-time elite arm talents, and I think you know who they are. We can put them on the screen. Josh Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Patrick, Aaron, and Matt Stafford. I'll keep Lamar on, though he struggled in the playoffs. He wins 77% of his games. And I think Aaron Rodgers, though he's old with that defense, Aaron still, when he lets go of that football, it doesn't look like almost anybody else on the planet. So those teams are in the Super Bowl bubble. And then the other six, these are six really good quarterbacks, and they're not getting paid yet. I consider them very talented and not getting paid. Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, and C.J. Stroud. I think Purdy's the least talented, but he's talented enough, and he's not making a nickel. And that's it. Now, who's not on that list? Jared Goff, who I think's really good, but not in the top six, and really, really expensive.
This take sounds so familiar. I even heard the number 12 in there. You guys not familiar with the 12% rule established here in the Woodward Heavyweights? It's the rule. In fact, not a single quarterback since the induction of the NFL salary cap has won the Super Bowl while taking more than 12% of the team's salary cap space, other than Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. Three of the best to ever do it since the introduction of the salary cap, meaning like an Everdom, essentially. Cowherd, first and foremost, you're late to the party. All right, next time, give me a shout out. Tell people to follow at Speakeasy Sports _ or something with this information. However, since he did steal it, I finally want to give you golfers, you gawkers, and it's a little aggressive there, but I want to give you the ammunition to break this one down because he's wrong. As you asked, Nick, there is a path to the Super Bowl with Colin Cowherd. The reason why that 12% is so important, imperative to winning a Super Bowl, is I was trying to establish in the previous segment, this is a team sport, right? And team also includes like your coaching and your play calling as well. It takes everyone to get it done, right? This isn't basketball where Jordan's playing defense and offense. No, you're just on your side of the field. Everyone has to come together. So that 12% helps you manage that money in ways where you can satisfy or fill positions across the board to help you out there a little bit. Yes, Jared Goff is past that rookie deal, that cheaper deal. However, when you have a brilliant man like Brad Holmes making these draft selections, what happens is you have the inverted version of that. Where like, yeah, your quarterback may be getting some bread. However, the pieces around him aren't ready to be paid yet. You have your Jahmyr. When you're drafting a Jahmyr Gibbs and a Sam Laporta and they're contributing in their rookie season, your window is there. Your team's continuing to be built. And now you have the expectations, or at least I have the expectations that the team has continued to be built in this offseason. And obviously we talked about that with the winners and losers, right? But I want to talk about the rookies, Trajon Arnold. I want to talk about guys you drafted previously that finally have the pieces in front of him to help them operate functionally at what they do. Kirby Joseph, Jack Campbell, because now they have DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil. Aiden Hutchinson has, hopefully, what's a counterpart if he stays healthy, and Marcus Davenport. There's a hole in that theory to where, in the Detroit Lions case specifically, where we're just surrounded by rookie contracts that are contributing now. There's one other hole to it, too. And this is why I made it a 12% rule, because Coward can say that, but you can still point to guys that are getting paid that's one. Jared Goff is underneath that 12% this year. I looked at, I gave you Trevor Lawrence's numbers. Jared Goff, if I'm not mistaken, is at 11%. The team set, which is technically underneath. And he also had those rookie contracts as well. The Detroit Lions can win a Super Bowl this year. Jared Goff should be on that list of candidates to win a Super Bowl. Fuck what Coward has to say after stealing my take.
Where Colin was wrong?
Where Colin was wrong.
Detroit Lions Super Bowl. This is 100% going. What are we doing here, Colin? You're hyping Goff up one day and then you're trashing him the next.
That's the crazy.
Think about this offense. You think you have 4 All-Pros already between Sewell, Ragnow, Laporta, and St. Brown. And then you think about the potential of a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs just completely exploding in this offense next season in the receiving game as well. And then you think about a guy like Jameson Williams, one of the fastest players in the National Football League. He's going to cook next year. I think Jared Goff in this offense is going to be elite. But one of the numbers that you say, and not just elite, like top 3 offenses, like lock it in. Like that's where I'm at with this Detroit Lions offense. But the number you said, the 12% rule.
Yeah.
The number 12 stands out to me. Because that's where this defense needs to get, in my eyes, to actually win the Super Bowl, is to be a top 12 defense.
Come on, bro.
And
What
you
are
think
we
about
doing?
Trajon Arnold. You think about Rakestraw. Those are just 2 really quality rookies that you bring into that secondary. But then you think about a Super Bowl champion like Carlton Davis. You think about an elite run stopper in DJ Reader. And then you think about a massive third-year leap from a guy to be a good pass rusher to a great one in Aiden Hutchinson being an absolute game wrecker. I think Colin is absolutely wrong here when it comes to his Jared Goff take and how he cannot win a Super Bowl. And I think everybody in Detroit feels the same way I do.
They can get it done. Not only is it at 10% this year, but as I said, you have the team around him. You have the coaching staff around him. And that's the one piece you could say when you argue for a guy that is more talented. It's not debatable. Matthew Stafford's more talented. He's a better in vacuum quarterback. But he's never had it's a team game. There's been examples of all. Trevor Lawrence. I just brought it up. The most EPA drops last year all season. He is talented. But it takes everybody to get it done. If those guys are dropping balls, if they're not calling the right plays, calls where they're just in situations where they're catching better balls, it's just not going to work. This is never going to work. The Detroit Lions situation is going to work. It can work.
It can work, and a big reason why it will work, I'd say, is because of that offensive line. Easy. Can you name me one offensive line that you would rather have right now going into this season than the Detroit Lions?
No.
Not a chance. I think we have one of the best offensive linemen. I think he's going to go down as one of the best offensive linemen of all time. Penei Sewell is an actual game wrecker from the offensive line standpoint. When he's polling, he absolutely dominates guys at the line of scrimmage. It's insane. This was the guy that changed the culture when Brad Holmes came in. He drafted Penei Sewell for a reason, and in his 3rd season, he made the All-Pro. Like, he's an All-Pro. This guy is a game changer. And I just think that Colin was wrong with this one. But I got to ask you, Caleb, how are you feeling about this crazy take from Colin Cowherd? Or is it crazy?
No, it's crazy. I think a lot of the time they're just trying to get clicks and stuff. I don't want to, but the Lions are a complete team, and okay, this kind of I might be being I can't think of the word, but I might be
biased?
backtracking. No, not biased, but I might be backtracking a little bit on because I think Jared Goff's a great quarterback, and he's just going to be really happy when I say this. The winning is not going to be 100% on Jared Goff's shoulders. Okay. The Lions are a complete team, offensive line, running backs. Now they have DBs. They have a guy in Jack Campbell who might be the leader of our defense coming, in the next couple years. An improved defensive line. This is a complete team. They could 100% win a Super Bowl, and it's going to be with the help of Jared Goff, with huge help from Jared Goff. But yeah, clown take by Cowherd. clown.
I think that's a good thing to have, though, where you're not depending on your quarterback to be playing hero ball, scrambling out of the pocket, blitz is coming at you left and right. I think that's an ideal scenario at any time, is when you don't have to depend on one player to be, a Patrick Mahomes, a guy that he's not. I think that's a good scenario lining up for this quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember the style play Matthew Stafford had here?
Yeah.
Not a hero ball.
Gunslinger. It was hero ball.
Now in this situation,
it's comeback season.
That's why I think Goff gets disrespected so much, is because not so much disrespected, just more like doesn't get the credit he should, is because he doesn't play the hero ball.
Yeah.
It's because he doesn't really need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he's a smart quarterback, and I think he knows what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are. I mean, we haven't seen too many deep shots downfield. I think we'll see more this season when it comes to Jameson Williams, because they're going to have that rapport of a full off season together. And I think that's going to be big moving forward. But he excels over the middle of the field, feeding guys like St. Brown and Laporta in space. And I think knowing what you can and can't do on the football field is half the battle.
Absolutely. And just a fan, my Twitter is @SpeakingSports_. I'd love to find that piece. I'd love to see the piece you're speaking of. I'm very unfamiliar with it. Listen, Jared Goff can get it done. I just told you guys he can get it done. It's very much so in the system. And the system's built around him and built with him, and that's why he's so good at executing it. Not only that, they've allowed him to grow as a quarterback and call his own protections, which he never did in LA. Jared Goff, this is the best version of Jared Goff that we're witnessing right now.
You can tell he feels comfortable in that pocket.
Absolutely. It's the best version of Jared Goff. He's in the best situation to do it. If you guys got disagreements, you guys want to take shots, you don't know how to answer we'll figure it out. I'll put the phone number in the chat. You guys want to call and argue? I'm here for it. But
and this is the day where Colin was wrong.
When Colin was wrong. First, let me tell you guys about Swiss Insurance, all right? It's the best insurance in the game. Make sure you check it out. More specifically, check it out from my guy, Mark. It's Mark at SwissInsurance.com. It's Mark at SwissINS.com.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? You should see what I did there. Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
Dispo Dispensary is the best dispensary in the game. Your local cannabis plug for reasons. The 6th location more across the great state of Michigan. You got the best bud, the best curated cannabis atmosphere, and the best deals at Dispo Dispensary. Visit disposhops.com to find one near you or get it delivered to your door with Dispo Dash. You must be 21 up in order to participate. It's Dispo, your local cannabis plug. What up, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. Remember, we're easy, joined by Nicholas Kohloff.
Let's go.
Microwave Nick, a.k.a. Detroit Mario.
Third time's a charm. Some say.
Third time's a charm. Chris, Joel.
Yo.
The number in the chat. If you guys like to join, we're also joined by Caleb. Now, two ways we take this one. Because I did sound a VMix link to our Detroit Pistons beat reporter, Detroit Kool-Aid. Hopefully he'll be able to join fresh off the Trajon Langdon press conference. Or Nick, if you'd like, be the voice of the people who are arguing for Jared Goff right now. You don't have to. I don't want to put that pressure on you.
What?
But I'm willing. If you guys can't call in, I'm willing to take questions from the chat or argue for the chat because I see him chirping in there.
I just don't think he gets the credit he deserves for bringing he's not who brought them, all of the success, but I think he's a big reason why. And maybe he is insulated, and maybe he does have a great offensive line and 2 all-pro weapons on the inside, and St. Brown and Laporta. But he's also throwing them the ball in spots where they can eat when it comes to yards after the catch. Does he get credit for that? Not too often.
Why would he?
Because he's keeping them away. Because he's keeping them away from contact and getting wrecked over the middle.
So the guy's catching the ball, who's breaking tackles and doing
he's
stuff.
Putting it in the right spots so they can
like
eat
you're literally
after.
giving. That's where I draw the lines. Does that stuff?
But he is literally putting it in the spots where they are allowed to eat after. He's not putting them in danger or getting, ran over the middle.
It's by design. That's why.
By design.
That's why he has the most yards.
That's how this offense is run.
Yeah, for sure.
J-Mo going deep, opening things up for the other guys in the middle.
So
why does he get discredited for that? For being on time, hitting them spot in
yards
stride
after the catch. Those yards are gained by the person who caught the football.
But if say the ball was behind him and he had to transform adjust his body, takes 3 steps back, then
why are we having that conversation? Because I'm not saying the ball's behind
because
him.
you don't see it. Because you don't see it.
You see it, but he is good. I'm just like the part where I draw the line is just like the gawking is like where I draw the line. That's where
I'm not saying he's some elite quarterback.
No, you did, but how am I discrediting him? I guess that's where I'm lost. Because is he top 5?
No.
Okay. All right, now
I'd say he's closer to 10.
I'd
say he's closer to 10.
Now I'm going to play the role in the chat, and maybe you just did. Why are you discrediting him then?
I'm not. I think he's a massive reason.
Thank you.
What does that even mean? I think he's a massive piece of why we're winning.
I don't say he's top 5. It's throwing at me as I'm discrediting him.
Oh, no. I never said that.
Well, you said you feel like he's getting discredited.
I did. That doesn't mean that I don't think he's top 5, or that if you don't think he's top 5, that he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Because I think, obviously, everything's great around him right now. Yeah. I know that. Everybody that has a pulse on football
he's great at executing
knows
the
that.
system.
He's great at executing the system.
He's great.
And I think that 2 playoff wins, I think that 2 playoff wins builds a lot of credit in my book, that he was a leader of that locker room that might not show up on the stats. That might not show up every single day when you come in and see, he's not throwing the deep, flashy balls on the outside. He's not, avoiding pass rush.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what it is.
But I think him being a leader of men, being able to call audibles at the line that maybe you don't see. I think it's the little things that you don't see on the field that are a bigger deal than some might like to say. Is he out in God knows where doing ayahuasca? Like he's at camp every day. Like he is a leader of this locker room. And you saw it after that massive LA first playoff win.
I said he's not
they were waiting in the locker room ready to explode for their
not
quarterback. I'm saying these are small things that go into actually being a leader of your team and not just the flashy stuff on the field that I think gets, maybe a little passed over.
I think he's an absolute leader. I think he's not even like a big vocal guy. I mean, he is obviously like as a quarterback, you kind of have to, right? You have to communicate things like that. But like, I think where I respect him the most is like just his turnaround in his career in general. Like he was quote unquote sent here to die.
Yeah.
He had every reason to kind of just throw in the towel, but no, he stayed determined. He stayed willing to learn. Even when he first got here, the coaches weren't in love with Jared Goff when he first got here. Anthony Lynn was the offensive coordinator. They didn't get along well. Dan Campbell hit the microphone. He had things to say about, but he stayed the course. He said, "Okay, I can get better at this. Okay, I can get better at this." And then introduce Ben Johnson, the fucking brilliant man that he is. And he's like, "Look, there are things that you do really well, and we're gonna focus this offense on the things that you do well." And they have done so. And he's executed. He's done his part. There's no discrediting at all whatsoever. That's the part where I guess I'm lost. Like where just because I'm not willing to say he's top 5, that's discredit. Just because
no, I never said that.
No, I'm not saying you.
Yeah, I guess people in the chat that come at you sometimes.
Yeah, like I'm not. Just because there's guys that have better skill sets that could also execute in that offense. Like that doesn't. It's not discrediting Goff. It's just that is what it is. That's why there is people say they're top 5 and he's just not in it. But he's doing what he's doing. And I just said you can win a Super Bowl with him doing that.
Exactly.
I don't get the hostility.
Oh, I'm not hostile at all. I just think
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think there's little things that go into it that some people on the outside maybe don't see. Like some of these national like pundits that go on about it. But I think a great point here that I think is pretty spot on. The Shaquille O'Neal, He's a reliable Toyota, not a Ferrari that you take out in the summer and always needs to be fixed. Like, he's just reliable. That's where I'm at with him. And shout out Toyota because I have one, which is hilarious. And shout out Gato in the chat. Penthouse Nick. Shout out Gato. Let's go. But
Amen.
Yeah, I think that he has done so much. And he is like not the flashiest. We know this, but
that's a perfect analogy, by the way.
Yeah, the Toyota Corolla.
He's just wow.
Or Toyota.
Because I work at a Ford dealership. I'm
Oh,
the F-150.
my bad.
Okay, America's
Hey, if
number
you
one
need a
selling
car.
America's number one selling car, 50 years plus. All right, easy, old, reliable F-150.
Check it out.
American born, American bred. He's gonna get it done for you.
If you need a car,
Chevy all day.
If you need a car, check out Easy. Let's go.
Whoa.
Best car salesman in the state.
According to stats, F-150 number one selling one. There you go. I don't know what to tell you there.
But Mr. Reliable, I think that's a great analogy there. Like, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal analogy.
Yeah. And I think he can be the quarterback of a Super Bowl winning Detroit Lions team, and that holds a lot of weight in my book.
I do have the link out to Kool-Aid. He says, yes, sir, give me a few minutes. I'll jump on the stream.
Let's go.
So, Chris, if you want to keep an eye on that. Yeah, top 10. Jared Goff's top 10. If anyone has me from 8-12, I can't be mad at it. I really can't. He's deserved to be there. He's executed. He's at the path. I guess I just don't really get where. Brand Dog, Sam Jazz cooked you. Well, let me find Sam Jazz.
Sam Reynolds in the chat. Shout out Flannel.
Yes,
to
sir.
Goff's credit, he was very good in the playoffs last year. Turnover free as
Very
well.
good.
That's big. He's not trying to do too much. He knows what he can and can't do. And you think about, obviously, the turnover about like Gibbs fumbling in the playoffs. That was a massive reason why we lost, but it wasn't on Jared Goff. I think that was on Gibbs not having the right read, and he was a step late on that one.
There was, in the turnover-free sense, there's a little bit of luck in it, right? Because there was a few drop picks in the Buccaneers game, and obviously recovered the fumble in the Rams game. But he also threw for 80% in that Rams game. He also threw a very clutch, probably the best throw last year from Jared Goff. Maybe his time as a Detroit Lion. You guys, if you have another one in mind, tell me. But that touchdown pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown in the Buccaneers playoff game, fucking beautiful. And that's in a playoff game, right? Like he delivered that one in a playoff game where the stakes mattered the most. That's JG gets his credit.
Talk about a beautiful ball. It's a Sam Laporta waiting for him to find that space in the end zone against the Rams.
Yeah, that's another thing.
That was
too.
a hell of a pass.
It wasn't designed that way, right? It was just covered.
It was a read.
Shout out to Laporta for I guess what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Improvising.
Yeah.
And shout out to Goff for not freaking out in that moment. And,
Exactly.
holding strong and throwing it. Another thing I want to give Goff credit for, if you guys want, if you want me to give him credit here, just stand in the pocket. Because that's what he's best at. And he's willing to do that. He doesn't get scared, throws it early, throws it away. Like you saw in 2021. As I said, he's gotten better.
Yep.
And sometimes he'll stand in that pocket and he'll take that hit, deliver the football. At 6 foot, was he 6'5", 6'6"? He's a big dude.
Yeah, I'm not sure how tall he is, but yeah, I think that's a really big thing. And he
utilize that height though to hold firm, find the open guy, and deliver the ball.
And you think about a big reason why that's so key is because a lot of these routes for a guy like St. Brown or Laporta, they're choice routes. So they're reading the defense at the same time he is, and they have to be on the same page, and he has to stand strong in that pocket, which he does. And I think that's a big reason why he has so much success. And maybe if he was like blitzed all the time or we didn't have a good offensive line, we would see a different side of Jared Goff. But we don't. We have an elite offensive line, so this quarterback can run this offense to the best capable ability. And maybe that is why he looks so good at times. And maybe that's why I would say he's the best quarterback in Detroit history. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would
He's
say.
still executing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's got the best circumstances of any quarterback in Detroit history.
I would say so as well.
But he's delivered.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
all
my
I
thing.
ask him
Like,
to
if
do.
you want to, if he continues to deliver and winning games, I'm gonna have the most fond moments of Jared Goff. He's gonna be the best quarterback in Detroit Lions history. I guess again, it's just two lines of thinking. It's like, are you looking at that, or are you looking at like just skill set and because in that situation, Matthew Stafford's answer, as Joel said. But Jared Goff winning football games is important, and delivering those big moments is important. I could bring up a moment. Matthew Stafford let me down hugely, big time in that Dallas game where we were up and I know the flag was picked up, but we were up in that game early. There was
17.
Yeah, and I get some of that too as halftime adjustments and whatever else from the coaching staff too. But I can't let Stafford escape from that one too. You Calvin Johnson. Or no, he did Calvin that game.
The only thing that
Was
matters
Calvin in that game? No, he was. Calvin Golden Tate. I know Golden Tate was eating that one though.
The only stat that matters to me is the W. That's where I'm at with it. Is the winning. And he does that at a high level for this Detroit Lions team. That's the only thing that matters to me. I don't care how it looks. I don't care if we run the ball 45 times. I don't care who the ball goes to. Win the damn game, and Jared Goff sure does a lot of that.
Yep, winning's a team stat for sure. Let's go to break. When we get back, hopefully we have Detroit Kool-Aid ready to go. If not, there is some breaking Detroit Pistons news that we will address, but not before we're told about the morning show.
Oh,
The white guy voice.
Wake Up Woodward. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit sports. Banter and live fan interaction, all on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Yep.
The game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at randywisechevy.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. On Woodward Ave, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live on sports.com. And boy, easy joined by not Spitmo Rex, Microwave Nick, Detroit Mario, Nicholas Kohloff. We got Chris Platte in the building, Joel, Caleb. Smash the like button. Be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream. Smash. As promised, some breaking Detroit Pistons news. And this one actually come before the press conference. This is from Jake L. What's the last name, Chris? Jake L. Fisher reports from Yahoo. The Detroit Pistons have been quietly gauging the value of Isaiah Stewart on a trademark. There's a graphic for that, Chris, you piece of shit.
Image file. I can show you after the show, but whoever's graphic it was,
that one's Nick's
failed.
fault. It wasn't sent as an image file.
Yeah,
it was sent as a .hic. I've never heard of that before in my life. Not JPEG.
When you save it, this is for everybody listening too, by the way. If you press .jpeg, you could then save it as a JPEG. That's a little computer hack for you. Doesn't work all the time. Doesn't work for web images, but it'll work for that situation. I sent it again if you like. But either way, the Detroit Pistons are trying to get a gauge on the value, the trade value of Isaiah Stewart.
Okay,
and you know what they're finding out? It's probably not that much. That's where I'm at with Stu. I don't think he has much trade interest around the league. I
disagree.
If Stu is at his best, Chris, I would love to hear it. When Stu's at his best, he's maybe a 7 or an 8 man on a good team. I think he can play a stretch 4 role is where he's built, but he gets bodied by bigger centers. Like, I don't think Stu, he's been maybe the best player that Troy drafted in his first draft class, but I wouldn't say he's been a quality starter in the NBA. I like that he's upped his 3-point percentage, but is it sustainable? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm willing to move off of him if the offer is right and you compare it with, say, a pick or another young guy to bring in an actual quality starter. I'm all in for it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of discussed it yesterday. And again, that's not my initial thoughts of what I wanted to do coming this offseason for Detroit Pistons was make that move to number 1. But then I was looking at it. I mean, all in agreement, his draft kind of sucks. I just don't think it would take much. If I could package somehow, and I don't know if it's worth it or not, but if I could at least offer Stu and 5 to find myself in a position to draft Ricochet, I'm probably doing it. Because you're drafting at 5 regardless. So that's like a wash. If Stu's a throw-in, that's what you wanted anyway. What Ricochet offers you at that 4. Now, if he's not at the pro level yet, or NBA pro level, but we'll see. But yeah, I think Stu attached to something else.
You're not getting a first, right?
No, you are. You're getting a protected first for Stu.
What?
Absolutely.
Chris, you're
that
crazy.
That was go back to James Edwards' reports a year ago. That was his value. Because you know what? Let's look at it. Let's look at it from a very simple and realistic perspective that you can all process. A contending team, say the New York Knicks, say the Boston Celtics, right? They need that eighth man. Like you said, I agree with your assessment, Nick. He is an eighth man on a championship team. But a team that's got 7 of the 8 players and needs that 8th player to win a championship, they will give you a protected first. Now, granted, it will be towards the back end of the first round, but you will get a first for Isaiah Stewart if you move him right now. I firmly believe that. Now, what you choose to do, that's the more interesting question. What do you choose to do with that? Do you choose to just sit on that asset, or do you plan to package it, like Easy said, move up to 1, or package it, go get you a Brandon Ingram, whoever you want? What do you do with that pick? That to me is the conversation we need to have about Trajan. And I can't wait for Kool-Aid to be on here, because to me the conversation is okay, what do you do with these assets? So if you get a first for Stu, what do you do with it?
Chris, I disagree with you. Steve Wild's in the chat. You have to give up picks to get rid of Stewart.
That's completely incorrect.
I know, he's trolling. He's trolling.
Yeah.
No, I know, he's trolling, Chris, but I don't think you can get a first rounder for him. I am willing to say, if we get a first rounder for Isaiah Stewart, I'm willing to do that like nasty shot that they do in Chicago live on air. And no chase. The one that Spenny was talking about. I'm willing to do that no chase live on air. There's not a chance he's getting a number 1. Caleb, how are you feeling about Isaiah Stewart and the potential of getting a number 1 draft pick?
Okay, well, when it comes to
number 1 overall pick,
trading Isaiah Stewart,
first rounder, my bad, Chris.
You definitely have to look at your options what teams are going to offer you. When it comes to getting a first round pick for him, I don't necessarily know if that's true, but if James Edwards reported that, then that could be the value for him. Chris does make a point. I mean, teams are looking for like a 7th, 8th man, especially a team like, the Celtics, they just won the whole thing, but a contending team, they're looking for a 7th, 8th man. Minnesota's a good one, yeah. But
they want a 7th center.
I just don't think Isaiah Stewart, it plays like a winning brand of basketball that contending teams are going to want. So I can definitely see us maybe getting a couple it depends what we're trading him for. If we're trading him because they didn't like the contract Weaver gave him, then that's a different thing. Then we're just salary dumping him. But if we're trading him because we think he has legitimate value, then maybe we could get a first back. I'm interested to see kind of what happens with that. And I think a trade happens with Isaiah Stewart before the draft if it happens, which is next week.
I can see the Pistons getting a first back for Stu. I don't think it's crazy, especially because I think I've always said, I've been firm on this point. I think Stu is a contributing piece to like a championship roster, especially off the bench. I think when Spinney sat in that chair, he said the same thing. Like, he is that type of energy, effort guy, that attitude that you want off the bench in a situation where you're already winning. He's never a 5 or 4 that you want to start that you're ever going to start, I should say, in a winning situation.
I agree.
So a team, if you're holding them for ransom for it and they want that piece, yeah, you could bully them into giving you a first for it. And I'm not saying multiple first, but yeah, I think you get a first.
I was just about to say, if he do go for a first, it's probably going to be only the first round pick. It won't be like first and then like another first, and then like a second. No, it would just probably be just a first round and then
exactly.
You also got to look at his contract in that situation too. Was it only $12 million he's making? If I'm not mistaken?
I think
it's
16,
like 16. I think.
But which is on par with what an average center with what an average like role player is, and especially with the cap going up, like we talked about, it's going up $13 million a year. So a $16 million contract 4 years from now is going to be damn near a minimum contract in the NBA. And look at this, December 18th, 2023. Actually a great day. Shout out whoever was born on that day. The Celtics trade rumors. Pistons drawing big interest from the Celtics. Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart was linked to the Boston Celtics several times throughout the last season as a trade candidate. The team that just won a championship looked at Isaiah Stewart and said, that is a guy we would like to trade for. And the rumor was first-round pick, protected first-round pick. But again, if you're Boston, you're giving up the 28th, the 29th, the 27th, 30th pick, whatever. Like so I'm not sitting here like it's a haul, like you're getting, the number 1 overall pick next year. but a protected first you are getting from a contending team for Isaiah Stewart. That is the market value for a rotational player that is identified as a difference maker to a championship team. Because if you've invested all this time and this energy to build a 7-man rotation, you just need that one extra guy for the playoffs. You're going to throw in a first-round pick to get it done. That's just business.
I have a quote from Trajon Langdon's press conference today on the trade market. As from our guy, Corey Woods, he says, I think that, hold on one second, let me grab it. I think that is one thing we're looking for is bringing in contracts from other teams and gathering assets. If we can interweave those things, that would make our summer successful. Me reading between the lines, and also from that same article from Jake L., I'd have to believe that means temper your expectations on winning this year. Obviously, I think you win more than the franchise low. However, I think that means we're going to be taking on a lot of the salary dumps. A lot of salary dumps and the assets that come along with it to do so. I think we're going to build up our war chest, and that following year, I think is when Trajon's going to make the big swing for actually acquiring pieces or trying to win games. But if we have Detroit Kool-Aid, our Detroit Pistons beat reporter, joining fresh off the conference.
Hey.
Appreciate you taking the time, man.
Hey, what up, dog? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Looking fresh.
Hey, that rocks. Hey, look, man, I had to be clean for the press conference today. Obviously,
looking
Trajon
good.
Langdon in town. Wanted to make sure I look my best, make sure I represent the network, you guys, and all the hard work we're trying to put in. Just trying to make sure I represent.
Kool-Aid, I just read a quote there from Trajon Langdon today on the trade market. My perspective on that was that we're going to be acquiring contracts along with assets to build our war chest in the future. Was that your same takeaway from that question?
Yeah, and really listening to them about their strategy. I didn't get a sense that that they have like a sense of urgency to get this thing done right away. I get more the sense that they want to get this thing done the right way. And that's kind of what influenced my question to them as well. Obviously it's going to take some time to bring their vision to fruition. So what do you tell the season ticket holders right now? What message do you convey to them? And ultimately it's the message of knowing that they want to get this thing right ultimately is what is spurring a lot of these decisions. A fresh start, a unified voice, and getting this thing right once and for all.
Kool-Aid, you say the right way. And we've heard that a lot in this town. We want to build it the right way. We've only seen it with one team that was actually able to do so, and that was the Lions. But with shout out. This much cap space, Kool-Aid, I got to say, are they just really going to take on all these bad contracts to take on picks, or are they going to go out and get somebody to help this team?
You know what? I don't know how much today was trying to keep their strategy close to the vest because obviously certain bits of information can influence what other teams may do in front of you in this NBA draft that's coming up on Wednesday. So I don't know how much of what they were saying today was actually, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. Because when we tried to pry them in the media scrums after the press conference, Trajon effectively kind of pushed back on that. And it would seem that there is a little bit more assessing going on. And I think if they see a path or a window to being able to bring in some players that can help Cade Cunningham right now, someone they can build around right now, I think that they're going to go ahead and take that shot. But for right now, as it relates to kind of bringing in some vets they believe they can pay, that they can play right now, obviously it may be some junk that comes in with that. That's also a strategy that they talked about as well. So they could use this cap space, not necessarily to bring in stars, but to bring in players that they think can best complement the young players.
Cool. I guess after hearing a little bit of the strategy today, what is the timeline you put on this team? I don't want to put a playoff stamp on it, but a play-in or something like that. I mean, did that change your expectation of the timeline of this team?
Yeah, one of my biggest storylines that I wanted to get figured out going into this press conference was just that. Was there a sense of urgency to get this thing done? Are you riding with the young players, or are you looking to turn this roster over and make it a little bit more experienced? So are we looking at 2 to 3 years, or are we looking at another kind of restore type timeline, which they came in saying it's going to take 3 to 5 years? I get the sense that this thing is going to take obviously more than 2 years based on what they're saying, but I just don't know if this is them tempering expectation or if it's them kind of trying to play coy so that they don't give away their strategy. I do believe they have everything they need to turn this thing around within a couple seasons. I do. You got the cap space. You got some good young capital, because it's important to remember, Trajon Langdon isn't starting where Troy Weaver started. When Troy Weaver came to the organization, they had to create the cap space that they have right now. They had to go and secure a bunch of young talent that they have right now. They had to make sure that they can put some pieces on this roster that were tradable and that they didn't have anything long-term encumbering over the book. So Trajon Langdon is walking into a much better situation. And some things that I heard from a lot of the other kind of support staff and employees of Platinum Equity is just how intelligent and how detail-oriented Trajon Langdon is. And that's why they're saying that they view him more as not just president of basketball operations, but a CEO, somebody whose voice is going to be the one that everybody marches to the beat of that drum. And so from that standpoint, it's encouraging, but it didn't really give me a clear window into how soon they're hoping this thing to get turned around. I expect at least 3 years.
Yikes. That is not what Pistons fans want to hear. But if
it
it is the right way,
yeah.
if it is built the right way, I can get behind it, no doubt.
Lions, 3 years.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, we do have to give him time, no, without a doubt. Kool-Aid, one question I had for you. You just hit on it a little bit. What is the power structure of this team? I talk about it all the time. Arntelem, his son, they got mentioned at this press conference. They were getting thanked. They were getting talked about by Tom. Kool-Aid, who's calling the shots? And does Trajon Langdon actually have the final say of basketball operations, or does he have other people in his ear still? Did you find that out today?
Listen, all the answers today and what we've seen up even before this press conference leading up to today, all the reports surrounding Troy Weaver and Monty Williams, is that though ownership made the decision to execute, it was largely due in part to what Trajon Langdon was saying to them as well about his vision moving forward, that they agreed it was better to have a fresh start to move forward. And so, yeah, today it seemed like a lot of the comments were about how Trajon Langdon is that voice. And I know Tom uses words specifically that's going to thread everything and connect all the dots. So from everything we got, and from some sources that I have as well that are connected directly to this thing, Trajon Langdon is supposed to be the individual reporting directly to Tom Gores, no more middleman. And when you look at the structure beneath him, everybody that's coming in beneath him is like coach, GM, other scout, and positional coaches and whatnot, that they're all supposed to follow his voice, his vision. So right now, as it relates to what they're saying, kind of reading between the lines, yes, we should have kind of one unified vision, voice, and kind of single path moving forward rather than multiple cooks in the kitchen and what's being reported of multiple factions. You guys already know, for the most part of this season, I've been saying, like, yo, there's something funny going on in that front office. You know, a lot of people were tuned in. They could really start to see it. Now, the structure is supposed to be much more single and less cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, I guess I had another question, but you made me think of another one. The factions. From the part that I caught him talking about is the people that he offered, you know, the door was open if they'd like to come in, they would like to, you know, explore employment opportunities elsewhere. And it sounded like everybody had kept their job for the most part. Does that mean these factions are also there for the most part? Because it sounded like there was 4 factions, and I think we counted 2 of them for sure with Monty and Troy, knowing that they weren't brought in together. Those remaining factions still there in their front office, and can you trust them moving forward to work in collaboration?
There are going to be some voices. There are going to be some influences in that front office that were there prior. You know what I mean? The most consistent voice in that front office right now is, you know, it's no secret, it's Arntelem and his son as well. They've been there for some time, since you go back to the SVG era. So they've been kind of the ones most synonymous with everything the Pistons have gone through, not the people who are getting fired and let go. So I understand the concern. But from everything that I'm hearing, Arn is supposed to now be in a position to where he's focusing more on like the basketball governance, the basketball operations, the basketball ownership type stuff. And it's supposed to be Trajon Langdon's time to just shine. You know, obviously the organization wasn't going to make a decision on Troy Weaver or Monty Williams until Trajon Langdon got the opportunity to really have his voice heard and have his opinion on what the Pistons should do moving forward. They weren't going to make that decision until him. That wasn't something that Troy Weaver got the opportunity to do. Remember, they went and they hired Monty Williams, despite him not even being one of the candidates that Troy Weaver thought was going to be best suited for this team. And then you get here and you got a coach who, if you're being brought in by the owner and your GM is not president of basketball operations, well, then that coach now realistically is over the GM, which shouldn't happen in a normal front office structure. So for me, it does look like this thing is going to be probably the most traditional NBA front office the Detroit Pistons have had since, I think you got to go back to maybe Joe Dumars in his front office.
I got to ask you this. So obviously, it sounds like they're looking to acquire assets, and I believe, I think my assets, that's coming in the way of like picks and whatnot. Sounds like they might be keeping this core around. They speak on any type of philosophy or any way they want to build around Cade, if any commitment to Cade.
Yeah, they definitely talked about a commitment to Cade. They didn't really go into a large amount of detail about how to build around Cade. They continue to offer the support behind the young players on the roster, which I expect them to do, even if some of those young players are going to wind up getting traded. They talked about a little bit of the philosophy, what they want to add to the team, but it was really just kind of the same stuff you hear. Oh, we want defense. We want players that want to try hard and whatnot. So we didn't get a clear look into the strategy that they want to do. But in terms of taking on some of these players with high contracts that are going to be probably disgruntled or coming from disgruntled situations, I expect them to do that better than the previous regime tried to do. The previous regime, they brought in some vets that were looking for some expanded opportunities as they were getting older, and those vets wound up being hobbled and injured. Could they play? Could they produce? Could they perform when they were there in the lineup? Yeah, but it was far and few in between. You mix that in with a bunch of young players, and it's just not going to fit the bill, And so now the hope and what we're hearing is that the types of players they're supposed to target are just going to be altogether different types of players. Like if you're talking about a vet, maybe, and I'm not saying they're going to target a Gary Harris, but those players that fit in that mold. Younger vets who've kind of had some experience, but you look at them and you say, oh, that person is still just 25, 26, 27. So looking at those types of players to be able to come in here, help to bolster this lineup. And one thing they did say is this. They want players that are going to increase the level of compete, not just in practice and on the court, but also in the weight room. And they want their coach, whoever comes in here, to make sure that they're doing that too. They want everybody competing and practicing and working out at a high level. And that's something that we heard Dan Campbell talk about early on in his days too. So this is something that they're establishing right now. And I assume the types of players that they're going to identify will fit that mold and be a little bit younger than the types of vets that were brought in here previously.
Kool-Aid, I got to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm sorry to do so. Do you believe the Alaskan Assassin is going to be the guy to get the Detroit Pistons back to where they need to be, and that's in the playoffs, contending ultimately for a championship?
You know what? I mean, it's a great question. That's the question everybody has. I know this is my third regime now covering the Pistons as a credentialed beat writer and reporter. And with the first one, I didn't see it come together. I just entered it while it was going on. The second one was Troy Weaver. And there was a lot of optimism, a lot of hope. Looking forward to trying to cover some winning basketball. And there are some things that I probably could have done better as a media member. That with this regime, it's like, you know what? I just want to see it being done. Yeah, I don't want to hear anything. I just want to see it get done. Everything that I did hear, it does bring in some aspect of optimism because he said some nuanced things. You can tell he's a cerebral type guy. He's a thinker. He's an individual that I think he will wreck his brain until he finds the solution type of guy. And as they talk about him being this leader, this person that can take command, when you hear about Troy Weaver being here and not really taking command of the situation, like Jaden Ivey, I don't care if you think he and Cade are fit. The one thing that should have happened is Jaden Ivey should have been playing ball. Even if it was off the bench, he should have been getting minutes. But if you're not that leader and your voice doesn't matter as the GM of the squad, then I can understand why there could be a little bit more optimism to be had with a guy like Trajon Langdon, who they're saying, no, when this guy walks into a room, his voice is the voice that everybody listens to. So I expect there to be some success. How soon? Like I said, I'm expecting 3 years, 2 to 3 years. I'm hoping that they surprise us and get aggressive this offseason, but I can understand coming in as a new regime wanting to take your time. So,
Kool-Aid, speaking of taking your time, I appreciate you taking yours to fill us in on that press conference.
Appreciate you guys.
I
appreciate you guys, man.
One last question, because I know this is another passion of yours. I just read today that they're considering another Joker character for the new installment of Batman. I'm sick of the Joker. Can we get some other villains?
That's a bad take.
We know who the Joker is. We know who Batman is. They don't like each other. We've seen it 15 million times. Can we get another villain for Christ's sake?
Oh, boy. Pull it up. Damn.
I'm right there with you, bro. I'm ready for them to kind of develop these storylines within DC. I don't know what they're doing. It's like a treadmill, bro. And they just keep regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over again. And they're just trying to do it in different ways. Let me get a different villain, bro. Like,
please.
Trust me, man. I love DC. I love Batman. I got some of the rogues gallery up on the wall over here right now. It's like, bro, hey, give me some different villains, man. I'm all there for it. And you know what's crazy? How amazing of a job they've done with the Joker. All of the different iterations of Joker, from the animated series to the different movies to even like some of the shows. It's like, wow, imagine if they put this into some of the others, like Penguin, like Riddler, which they did a little bit in this Batman movie that they had with Robert Pattinson, but I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. Like, give me some different villains, man. Give me some different villains.
Heath Ledger, the GOAT of Jokers.
For sure.
Without a doubt.
I'm just saying we've seen Joker 15 million times.
I thought you were like going back on the old Jokers. Yeah.
By the way,
I was like, oh.
I think they knocked it out of the park with the Riddler with Pattinson, or Battinson, as they say. They killed it. That was phenomenal.
I like it.
Who's the next villain on your list, if you had to pick?
I like it. I want to see somebody do something good by Mr. Freeze. That's what I want to see. The storyline, kind of the not necessarily full-on villain. I just want to see them do something good with the story of Mr. Freeze and his wife, man. I think that would be so dope.
Real quick, Kool-Aid, did you see the Penguin trailer?
I didn't see it yet. I gotta watch that.
I saw the link. I didn't get a chance to watch it, man. Today's been
It looks good. It looks good.
I can't wait.
Can I interest you on Sydney Sweeney playing Poison Ivy?
Hands up.
His eyebrows.
Shout out to Queen Kool-Aid.
Shout out
to Queen Kool-Aid.
Shout out. Thanks, Kool-Aid. Always appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys, man. As always, heavyweights, man. The biggest interviews, the biggest breakdowns, the biggest laughs. Well, we're heavyweights, man.
I appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys check out. Hey, thank you. Check out Wake Up Woodward, Mondays through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's part of my morning every day.
Every day. Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid's the man. Covers the Pistons so well. Shout out Kool-Aid. I know it's been a tough few years. Hopefully we can get back to relevancy, man. We know you deserve it. These fans deserve it too, man. They've been through a lot. Shout out Kool-Aid. Appreciate
Everybody
you.
does, man. Y'all been in the trenches. I started covering Pistons at this network with Easy.
Yeah.
Man. Like, I'm serious,
Shout
for
out.
a couple years. So definitely, man. I remember we got to do the interview down in the Players Club and all of that stuff down in the tunnel. So it's like they've been a part of this journey. Nick, you already know you've been a part of the journey. I've seen you as just a season ticket holder.
Yep, a sad one.
Sports, and now you're there. So it's been a few years, man. This Pistons
Shout
journey,
out.
It includes you too as well.
Thanks, Kool-Aid.
I remember popping bottles when we found out we were getting Cade. Because we knew it was going to be Cade.
I was at a softball game. I was popping bottles as soon as I hit the dugout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the studio going crazy.
Let's rock.
Good times.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Love you, brother. Thanks for joining
Shout
us.
out.
Hopefully we got some popping bottle times ahead for these Detroit Pistons, man.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully
it starts with OG
3
and
years
Anobe.
from now, but hey, I understand. Do you agree with that line of thinking, just real quick, the 3-year thing, the 3-year plan?
What, that it should take 3 years?
I mean, not that it should take 3 years, but it's kind of what we got to do, right?
Man.
Yeah, me too.
I want it to be faster, but I understand it. It's like I want to be fair to the fact that this is a new regime, new plan of action. These players might not fit what he wants, and sometimes that takes a year or two to shuffle that roster around. So I understand it, but eager to see things get going. I know, Nick, bro, I know you are ready.
Oh,
I
dude.
know you are ready to see this thing
So
turn around,
much,
bro.
so
Microwave
much money,
Nick, that's
so
what we call
much
him.
time. I've seen LCA when it's buzzing, and it can get going. So I'm excited to see what it looks like for a packed Piston crowd and not cheering on the other team's best player. Which we've seen too much of, especially Toronto fans always take over.
Yeah.
But that's the one key that you can look at to like the Pistons accelerating this rebuild. It's just Cade Cunningham's development. Like Cade Cunningham has the ability to, or projects to have the ability to carry a team almost by himself, at least to play in contention, if you just surround him with pieces that support him stylistically. So while you do look at a 2 to 3 year timeline, like I'm sure Orlando didn't think they were going to be here 2 years ago. Like the time in the NBA can change very fast, especially when you have a player of Cade Cunningham's caliber. So that's the one probably bright spot you're taking away as a Piston fan. Just surround them with pieces that fit to start. and then go from there.
Hey, and shout out Chris, bro. I didn't know you were there, man. Shout out to Chris Platte. Love your Pistons coverage as well, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
NBA savant, Chris Platte.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, shout out Kool-Aid. Thanks, bro.
Hey, thank you guys. And as always, man, shout out to the Heavies.
Thank you.
Shout out to Spinny. All right, you guys.
Take it easy. Have a great weekend.
Well, folks, that is it for us until Monday.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekends, Nick. Great job on the desk today.
Hey, want a quick shout out to Michael and Megan, who are getting married tomorrow in Grand Rapids. It is my girlfriend's brother. Congratulations. You guys are going to do great things in this world.
Have sex.
Shout out, yeah.
We're out.
Joel
Hey,
working
smash that like
OT.
button.